On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, we're going to talk to you and explain to you what a Grail Front is. Yes, true facts. I will explain Grail Fronts. Also, gosh, there's a lot of summer servants. There's a lot.
I'm so excited.
It's great, yeah. We'll talk about them. So, the voice you're currently hearing is me. Hello, I am Omega. I have a dragon hat. And with me, as always, is Lucky, currently engaging in some spontaneous keyboard cleaning. It's not a bit, by the way.
I thought you were going to call me Right Shift Lucky.
I could have called you Right Shift Lucky. No, just if I felt important to explain to the audience, if they wonder why there's some weird comments right now, it's because there's a lot of keyboard discussion. So, we're here, though. We're doing Let's Talk FGO, because
we are
doing
Let's Talk.
professionals.
Yes. I was about to make a weird joke, but I'll go on without it and say I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, a.k.a. Valkyrie's Frontline. And while we here at City Omega like to bring you the latest FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should only accept Skafest as the proper abbreviation.
Yes. Ska like the music, not any other funny names you think you want to do. Though, gosh, what do we call this? What is it in English? It's in my notes. Battlefield Blitz? Battleground Blitz. I feel like we're trying to be like some new game mode in Fortnite. But no, it's much cooler than that. I guess Dance Tournament in the Land of Shadows would have been very long. Probably wouldn't have made as cool a graphic. Reminder, JP designs our graphic packages. Still. But okay, hello, we're doing it. This is Let's Talk FGO. I've got another gosh darn YouTube notification. It's somebody posting a very late mailbag. But we have 20 now, yay!
Yeah. Oh, I need to switch over. I'm still on my mic.
Hold on, is that 21 or is that 20? That was, okay, there's two is 20. Back-to-back notifications. Jiminy Crimbo. You guys are really getting down to the wire. I'm literally firing up the show and you guys are making submissions. Anyway, before we go any further, I would like to remind everybody this episode is brought to you by our patrons, which include Adam DeHarp, Architect 10, Blackest OG, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jessica the Fae, Jonathan Sandoval, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kester, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robyn, Charvor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, Siren23, Varian the Crow. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, and want Lucky to be able to buy a new keyboard, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to it early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. And apparently, Patreon ate the audio for the last episode of Gensakai, even though it said there was audio attached, but that's okay. I fixed it. I re-uploaded it. It's fine now. I don't know why Patreon would do me in like that, but it's
doing
fine.
You dirty.
Everything's fine now. Alright. That's the Patreon intro out the way, and we can move swiftly on. Let us check in with everybody's favorite kohai, Mash.
Senpai, 起きてください.
Because we're waking the fuck up, Senpai. It's our pro tip segment. I have a simple one, but you have a few days before Skafest. So, I'll explain exactly how much later, because it's part of the, like I said, the proper pregame. We got the full thing. But your low rarity units, you know, your lower attribute levels will get a bigger attack bonus in Skafest. So consider leveling your low rarity servants while you've got some free time, because they will be better at stuff and be cheaper and might be good for things that we will explain later. Before we get onto that, though, we do have some usual segments you know of, such as Records from the Throne, a regular achievement topic, and on a weekly ticket on the 18 bajillion downloads banner. I did get a Lancer Lee, and he's story locked, so that's neat.
Yay!
Now you may ask yourself, Omega, why are you rolling on days where you can, presumably, not just get more NP copies of Python? And it's because I don't really care about that. I think only Summers motivate me to not roll on 4 stars unless I have, 5 million copies of the 4-star. I'm just like, ooh, ticket, let's roll. You never know, it could have been MP2 Mothman. It wasn't, but anyway.
For me, it's, I didn't roll anything. But during the, the half APs and, the half APs and stuff, I was able to get enough, and I did level Red Hair and Columbus, got their smile protected, because why not?
Hey, more sync courts in the future.
I know, right? Truly incentivizing that. But with that... Actually, can you hear me from here?
Yes,
I'm bent over my keyboard.
You are audible, though there's an auditory difference.
Okay, sorry. Let me lean back over here. Let's switch over to Not All the World's Evil, but damn close. It has been a week. OQ is now officially over, along with the banners. And I will tell you, I spent, let's see here. It was staggered over three pickup days, but at spending, buying 2 full $80 packs and throwing them all, I still have no MP3 comma, and I am slightly nettled. Yeah, I do have a little bit of the agita, but like I said, I didn't want to go absolutely batshit crazy because I do need to enter savings mode for Lost Belt 6 next year's summer, all the Koyanskayas,
Things,
Ibuki
stuff.
There's stuff happening. Not to mention, I still I said I need to pick up me a new art tablet and maybe, I'm not sure yet. I have not committed to this yet. A new keyboard. I don't know. If I hear sound far away, this is because I'm probably inches from my keyboard digging out debris and stuff.
Yeah. This is a perfect time for me to remind you that YouTube wanted me to remind you that super thanks are a thing. You can drop us a little tip right in the comment section. Yes, YouTube sent me an email and was like, hey, our super thanks feature? It's pretty cool, but people aren't using it a lot. Make sure to remind your audience that they can do it. And I'm like, okay, YouTube, I will. Sure.
Why not?
What's that, YouTube? You're telling me to shill? It's because they get a cut. But yes, consider dropping us a line. The revenue is a little lean this month, and we're in the back half, so not that that matters for another extra month when the payday is skipped, but whatever. Just letting you know, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, that's that. Let's slipping on. Did you finish your master missions? Possibly. Because they're but simple this week. You need to defeat 10, then 20 Earth attribute enemies, defeat 10, then 20 human attribute enemies, and then complete 5 and then 10 quests. I'm fairly certain the intent here is for you to just slam-a-jam interludes.
Probably.
You can also just beat up, I think it's Orleans Jura Forest again for some Earth stuff. I think that's the one with Ghost Lancelot. Shadow Lancelot's there. And you can just beat that up for some extra Earths. And, hey, guess what? If you do Fuyuki, that counts as human. There's some human attribute enemies there. So, yeah, you can clear it up for cheap AP if you're not already, getting rid of all your stuff. Next week's will presumably be, the ones they're about to switch to will presumably be more complicated, because they'll coincide with the new event. But anyway, that's Master Missions. Now we can discuss the news. The news is a little lean. Summer is still going on for another, technically, couple of weeks. Yeah, week and a half.
Don't worry, guys. I'll put other things in the thumbnail, just not this week.
Yeah, we got plenty of time to put in the thumbnail. Listen, Lucky called his shot. He made a promise.
I did.
He's got to do the thing.
I got to do the thing.
And go click on it. You clicked on it right now, actually. If you're listening, you clicked on it. You clicked on the thumbnail. It worked. And there's so many to pick from. So many things. So much stuff. Anyway, the news is a little lean because there's no new JP news for a little bit. I presume probably sometime next week they'll announce their next Road to 7 shenaniganery, whatevers. So we'll get on there. We can block out a little bit more time with some fun comments from last time. Somebody did, I think I took this on a stream, but not on a Let's Take FGO yet. Somebody did drop us a comment and say that apparently Suzuka is in the new summer event and explicitly says she will get a swimsuit. That's usually a good sign. Not a guarantee to be the next summer, but usually when a servant is how dare you, next time I will have the swimsuit, it's usually a pretty good lead up. And then the other thing was, I don't know, does Passionlip actually say she'll get a swimsuit, or is she more just oh, I wish I had a swimsuit?
I don't know. Remember, it took Okita several years.
Yes. And she complained about that, in summer, too. So, like I said, I think it does, it's a good sign, it's just not a guarantee. Another thing was, somebody actually had some comment on, why we have 3 SSRs, and I will take this as just a speculation, because I'm pretty sure Los Angeles hasn't made a statement about this, but they have a theory that it is because, and this is also why we're seeing non-rolling raiders with separate banners, allegedly the pity system resets if you do anything to change the banner, so if you do normal rotation, even if it's just for 4 stars, that resets the pity timer, and if that is true, which it's believable, FGO is a 7-year-old game now, kids. It's been going quite a while. God knows what the code looks like these days. But it does reset if you do anything. So, I would assume that may explain why we have not been seeing as many reruns with banners, because those would require normal rotations. And similarly how they divided the summer banners. Because now that we have pity, I do actually feel like having pity but resetting it makes people mauled more than just not having banners to roll on, period.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people obviously are like, oh man, I really hope there is a Summer 5 or whatever rerun, we want our welfares and stuff, but also, like, if you got there and then they fucked with the pity, I think that would make people more angry. I hope that they can correct this eventually, or they can find some other way to, like, get our banners to us. But obviously, like we said, this is a game that is in progress. It has been out for 7 years. I'm guessing they didn't just go like, oh man, we held off on pity because we wanted more of your money. It was probably like, okay, how do we make pity work for like for our monetary value, but also for our coding and our banners and our customers, right? Like, there's a lot of decisions that go into setting these things up. Like, I assume for the new quick buffs that they did during Anniversary, there was probably a shitload of like playtesting and theory crafting and like figuring stuff out there. So I hope that they can figure out a way to improve it. I know that they like to improve things. They're constantly giving us new quality of life. That does kind of, I think, explain why, like, every time we get, like, a big banner dump for, like, a Road to 7 or something, it's like, hey, here's, like, 5 banners, all with different rate ups on different days. It's basically the same thing as the rotation, but without the actual rotating banners. And I hope that we can figure out how to, like, make that work better with reruns and stuff, and soon. Because I do kind of feel like a lot of the heavy spenders on the game who do, help fund this are not keen to, like, give up the pity now that they've got it. But this does mean you should be careful what you wish for if you ask for pity early, because that might fuck up the banners. I know a lot of people roll on solo days anyway, but if it resets your pity factor, that might might get a little annoying. And like I said, hopefully they can like smooth this out, because the traditional rate up lines are perfectly okay. Well, yeah, but that's because you're not a whale, Dallas. Yeah, but you're also a horrific luck sack, as Starlight just said. Naturally, you want more banners you can ticket snipe as opposed to the other thing. And I mean, like I said, you could make it work if the rotations were longer, so that people know very clearly there's going to be a pity reset. It's food for thought. And again, I don't know if it's exactly true, like if that's the design decision why banners are different now and we're getting less reruns or not. But it was a theory that somebody posted in the comments, and I'm like, that's interesting. If that's like a factual statement they have made, I believe, like I said, that is a decent interpretation of the mechanics of pity. But anyway, let's move on to the actual news that we've got. It's mostly NA related. So first of all, we're in the middle of it right now. NA Interlude Campaign number 14 goes from the 16th to the 23rd, so you will have a little bit of overlap with Skafest.
Yes.
You get half AP interludes during this entire position. And also we added several new interludes, as you'd expect. We've got Shoot and Skill interlude. That's on her Batcon. Her Guts is now 2k to 4k and also gives her a 20 to 30% battery. Probably good for farming. Suzuka gets a skill interlude. It gives her first skill, goes from being 1 turn to be 3-3 on Buster and crits, so 3 hits, 3 turns. Also makes her Star Gen buff 3 turns. Actually, no, the crit damage is new entirely, but it's also still 3-3. But it basically makes her Mana Burst 3 hits, 3 turns, and also gives her a Star Gen buff. It's good, gives her some longevity. Yelter got a skill interlude. Her first skill now gives more stars and also gives her Buster cards 30% crit up specifically. Red Hair gets a Near Saint Quartz interlude. And VK Braun gets an NP interlude that I'm doing right now. It buffs his NP damage first. Also, multipliers go up. So, yeah, interludes. I have actually been clearing out some of my backlog. I haven't done a lot of the new ones other than I'm doing a VK Bronze right now. The Kama one came with a little bit of a content warning for reasons.
Can someone actually explain those reasons to me?
So, you know how there are those PMC mobs with machine guns?
Uh-huh.
They are in the interlude. The interlude is set in a school.
Oh.
Some people might actually find that a little, out of vogue. But this is, funnily enough, this interlude was written 2 years ago in Japan, so don't take it personally, anybody. But yeah, they let you know that, some people may be careful about this. Yeah, they are actually called terrorists. I mean, what else would you say?
I was like, I don't know, maybe, what's the word? What's the word I want to say? Hold? Like, that didn't click to me, that didn't really click to me. I was, like, looking through it, it's all like, is there something weird gonna fucking happen? And I just got through it, I'm all like, okay, this was nice, but I feel like I've missed something.
Yeah, like I said, it's not a thing that will probably, like, bother, and a lot of people playing FGO probably won't even realize, just because it is just kind of, like, FGO is full of weird bullshit.
like the setting for it was super weird, because you're literally doing a dream thing. You're in a dream. Kama's there. She's pretending to be your girlfriend, and there's this whole like fourth wall breaking aspect to it. So it's just all like, and when she was like, "All right, something's about to happen," and terrorists busted, and I was all like, I've seen anime like this. I didn't make the connection between fucking
Yeah, schools being attacked in anime is like not a problem. So
yeah. So I was like, huh.
But no,
well, I'm glad I have context for that, and I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little shamed about it, but at the same time, I'm just like, huh.
Well, like you said, it's a very, and I like I said, I haven't played it yet myself. I'm working my way down my list. I got some backlog. Yeah, I don't think it's just a content warning, just to be like, hey, some people might actually, it's something that we're a little more that may or may not be more sensitive in America. I'm getting a lot of people just being like, they're not trying to be rude, but are just like, yeah, well, that's how it is.
Dallas, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Dallas.
Yeah.
Even if you spelled it wrong.
No, it's 2 L's in callous, but that's okay. You guys both have broke-ass keyboards. Dallas responds with a meme. But yes, it's a thing. So that's why. But yeah, I haven't worked my way to that one personally, but there's a few that are good in there. Started with Chin-Chi Wong's older interlude. Oh, it was wacky. But yeah, so there you go, new interludes. We also have a Summon banner, Shuten, also Nyalta Red Hair, and VK Braun. All of which I think are permanently available, so Shuten's just a limited run. I still don't have a Shuten, but I've used up all my tickets already, and no joy yet. But we'll see.
I need to hold on. Like, I said I'm not going to be fucking, spending money, but I do want to spend what I get, so I'm like...
Yeah. Well, and good news for you, our upcoming Grail Front event will reward a little stash of tickets. Light on the Saint Courts, but we'll give some tickets.
Well, 1 ticket is 3 Saint Courts, so...
Yeah, it's kind of like, I looked at the list, there's literally, spoilers for the future pregame, there's literally 2 main story quests, there's prologue and epilogue, because, everything is in the Grail Front itself. You get apples from free quests and mana prisms, and you get the frickin' Grail tiers from the actual Grail Front maps, so, yeah, you got a lot, you've got the equivalent of a decent chunk of Saint Courts in there, but it's all in ticket form. But, yes, so... a little something coming up. Speaking of which, by the way, we got our official announcement just the other day. NA, Land of Shadows, Battleground Blitz, a cat, a bunny, and a Holy Grail War. It sounds like us trying to title an episode. That's not what this episode's going to be called, by the way. Though I will try and find some way to put some things in there. Mm-hmm. But this will start the 22nd and go until the 4th of September. So you have quite a decent chunk of time. It's the full 2 weeks. So good old lotto time. So it's finally time. We're going to get our first ever Grail Front event. It is also a lotto event, so keep an eye out for that. I will be doing the full pregame on there. There's time gates and all that fun stuff, so, you got to wait a little bit for some of your things to go on. But there is a pretty extensive breakdown of Grail Front that I will do later. But shout out to the actual news site and whoever translated all this stuff, but there is a very thorough explanation of how it works on the actual website that you can access. And that's where I got a decent, run of my info. Let's see. We got a rank up for Scathicc and also her costume. We have a bonus servant list, which is all servants. Every servant will get an attack bonus. It's just proportional to your rarity, or inversely proportional. And we've got news on the summon banner. The summon banner will be Scathicc, Deerwood Saber, Fion, and Tamacat. That's right. We just can't have a limited in-demand SSR Lancer without hiding a fucking Fion in there. But because there are multiple 4 stars, there will be a 4-star rotation, so you can wait for a non-Fion day if you don't really need the CEs, which you don't, because that's just shop currency. But yeah, so this is a good little event that everyone is looking out for. Well, I mean, Fion's decent after you do, his 2 or 3 rank ups. He's good now, but he did not start that way. It's basically a meme at this point. Shit, yeah, I think I got my first... Did I get my first Fion on an Ereshkigal banner? No, I got an Enkidu on my Eresh banner.
Yes.
He had to sit in the corner for a while.
No, that's when I
didn't
got
roll
mine.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, at this point, it's workable. It's just, on the Bryn banner, it was just, oh my god, why? Why do you do this? Especially considering we knew in NA that Bryn wasn't getting another banner for, 2 years.
Yeah.
Rough and tumble, everybody. But alright, so... we will later, like I said, I have a full pregame planned out for you so we can get to all the stuff. and we'll explain a lot of the different systems and give you some advice and things. I'm pretty excited for the event, though. Obviously, because on the one hand, it is a LOTTO event with skill gems, which, as you know, I fucking love. I'm constantly broke-ass on my skill gems, and hopefully I will be able to find time to do it. But also, the Grail Fronts are just like a little strategy game in the middle of our FGO, and y'all know how I love those. So it's gonna be hopefully a fun time. 7 maps, got some flexibility. I think this is kind of what the FGO dual game is like, but the actual version on your phone is like way more complex, and it's cool. But we'll get into it. I think the other bit of news, unless somebody like in the back has got something I missed, vaguely FGO related, I do want to throw out there, if you don't know already, because our fighting games thread has been blowing the fuck up on it, but Mash is out for Melty Blood, by the way.
Yeah.
Also, Neko Arc, and there is an FGO reference there. I think her ult is she just opens FGO and summons Saber and does Excalibur.
She actually has some alternative ones, too, where she summons Black Keys and throws Maba Tofu at you. Perfect.
They know what's up. Thank you. Thank you, Melty Blood Squad. Yeah, it's an actual gacha. You have even odds of getting an SSR or getting Black Keys or Maba Tofu.
Sounds about right.
So, yeah, if you want to check that out, you can. There's some stuff there. I think there's actually, like, some lore hints, some vibes. But, we're time traveling. I think somebody actually broke it down, and based on the dialogue, Mash sounds like she's either in late Part 1 or early Epic of Remnant era. So, well, I mean, obviously, because she's pre-Orthonax, so, like, time cop shenanigans may be involved. Actually, when is Tsukihime set? The new Melty Blood's actually a prequel to that, to the actual Tsukihime remake, so that is technically in the past, I'm pretty sure. Time cops! But yes, that's what we got going on there. But if I'm not forgetting any newsums, that means it's probably time to roll on in, after a hearty 26 minutes, into the mailbag.
And so, with that, it is time to start this week's Let's Talk FGO mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week we have a lovely, lovely number of fresh 20 submissions, a lovely whole round number. It pleases me aesthetically. And we shall begin right meow. So with that, our first one comes from an interlay campaign. I am horrible already. An interlay campaign after finishing Shez's interlude. Sigh.
I assume they mean her interlude 1, which is like literally 7 pips long.
But they say, so I'm guessing we'll hear later anyways, but how have you liked the new batch of interludes? I've enjoyed them. Nothing too mind-blowing. Suzuka's got me for a bit of a loop with the good doctor showing up, since we couldn't get her till after Solomon. I guess he would just always summon Ubble now.
I do believe she got added to the tutorial summon, so yes.
Those sort of stories where it takes place in the past always gives me a moment of confusion. It's one thing when it's because the servant is new to you with a bag of interludes, but it's another when a new one that takes place in the past. Any thoughts or feeling on this? Anyway, have a good week. P.S. Forget what I said about these interludes. The VK Bronze Robot Wars were the best. This is probably someone who really likes Super Robot Wars.
It's pretty funny. Oh no, I can tell you the rough outline. A VK Braun just decides he needs to get better at giant robot fights, so he just challenges all the servants who have giant robots to a tournament to see who has the best giant robot.
Thick.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I haven't actually sat down for Suzuka's yet myself either. I do know that has given people the double take or a little bit of the sad mad, because as we know, the good doctor does show up in it, as the person just said. So I know that some people have been weirded out by that for sure. It is definitely a kind of thing where, like, obviously the interludes are written presumably because the character writer or one of the other scenario writers, like, has something to say with that servant, whether it's just, like, the comma interlude, which is just kind of, like, weird and meta. There's several interludes like that, or, like...
I love the comma interlude. I don't know anyone that's talking about.
There's some, some definite gag interludes, right? And then there's some really serious interludes, like I did Qin Shi Huang's new interlude from, like, our last batch of interludes, which is, like, very intense and addressing themes that were not yet resolved in the Lost Belt. Also, did you know that small Mothman and large floating fortress Mothman could talk to each other? Didn't know that. Thanks, interlude. And
I think it makes sense the more
Oh,
I
it
think about
does in the context. They explain it very well. Like, they refer to each other as my spirit, my body, but, like, it was just kind of like when it happened, I'm just like, interesting. But yeah, so, like, there's some variants there and different stuff. I don't really know how a writer would pick what time frame an interlude is set in. I guess it just depends on when they want it to be unlockable. Because, obviously, like, some interludes, you know, if you're all caught up on story, interludes being accessible makes sense, but some of them are actually, like, time-gated depending on whether that's when the servant was accessible or just when they want to reference stuff in the story. So I assume for Suzuka, they just wanted to not reference anything past, like, part 1. And like I said, she is permanently summonable, so.
Like I said, for me, I really like the comma interlude. It just cements, my thoughts and feelings on her. Like, I don't know. Like, you did it, I'm assuming, Omega?
What?
The comma interlude.
No, I said earlier, I hadn't done it yet.
Oh.
I'm still working through my backlog.
Oh, because you mentioned it was kind of meta, and I was all like, wait, what?
That's what you said to me.
Did I?
You said it was kind of fourth wall breaky.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Oh.
Like, in the context of the interlude. Sorry if I confused anybody, including Lucky.
Lucky is easily confused.
Well, I also don't know what your status of cleaning your keyboard is, so you may have been distracted.
There's more gunk on this and in this than I like to admit. So. Sorry, Okay, I'm gonna put down this keyboard.
He's putting it down. Put that keyboard down!
Put that keyboard down! Alright. So, this next one comes from a master hosting the weekly Fluffy's Ear competition while trading emotes and jokes with Suzuka. Hey guys, it's official. Summer 7 is gonna be the death of many Wallet-coons when it comes to NA. If I had to take a pick, Ibuki's probably the one I'm most hyped for, with Wu and Skadi as close runner-ups. Actually, that's my exact same feeling. Like, I'm going to die for Summer Ibuki, and I would definitely like a Summer Wu. To call back a similar question from the past Let's Talk, how do you think the story of FGO would have played out if we had Proto Merlin helping us, as opposed to Merlin? What different decisions have been made in those situations between the two Merlins, given her true nature compared to her male counterpart? I can't imagine she would have teased Romani to no end at the very least. Sending you the good vibes, and ready yourselves. Bunny Shishou is almost here.
I mean, probably, but that involves spoilers I don't possess.
Well, we're talking up to events right now. Honestly, I don't think necessarily Merlin has had a overall impactful impact. Damn you, redundancy. On the story as a whole. Like, correct me if I am wrong, but the two major events that Merlin has displayed Merlinness is shows up randomly in America and be all like, dreams, yo. Fog.
Yeah. I mean, he pauses just enough for Ku not to shank us, but that's not a big deal. I think that's what Proto Merlin did in arcade, even.
And, guided us through Babylonia, which, is a big thing. A lot of shit happened in Babylonia, but it's not necessarily Merlin coming back to Chaldea with us and taking guiding us to be bigger and better. That role is usually handled by Holmes and
I mean, I don't actually know that, but like I said, I suspect there would be some differences, but I don't know enough about Proto Merlin, and you don't either. You don't play arcade. But I'm talking to the audience, by the way. That's not directed at Lucky. I just realized, again, grammatic ambiguities. We're great today. We're excellent communicators. But there's, as you said, Lucky, Merlin's important to, like, specific stories. For instance, Merlin also set up basically all of Camelot.
Yeah.
They're not really explicit about it, but the person that Bedivere met on the shore of Avalon was Merlin. He was like, cool.
Well, here, I'm gonna bolt this fucking sword to your arm, and I'm gonna kick you right back out. Go. Yeah,
it's like, man, you spent a long-ass time coming here. Anyway, you've got to go back, buddy. Here you go. Your sword is now unarmed. Go on now. Scooch. Ah! So, like, I suspect that there would be differences, and it's especially because, like, in Babylonia, the interactions are different because there's different beasts and characters and other stuff involved. So it's hard to tell, like, the Babylonia versus Mesopotamia differences. So, like I said, I theorized that things would be different, but I guess the phrase this person used, played out, I don't think it would have played out any different. The end result would be, like, the same.
Yeah.
Part 1 is done and all this stuff happens.
Yeah, I believe that as well.
I mean, Gatia didn't have break bars, so.
Yeah.
You could just one and done with Merlin. Just go all the Merlin, double Merlin overcharge.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of people did. I'm pretty sure a lot of people went double Merlin Jolter and it was just a, die.
I mean, Jolter was a primo strat because she applied the buff block, which was important.
Mm-hmm.
I think I tried to do the Mephistopheles meme comp because it was very funny. It was very hilarious to job on Gatia with Clown's Laughter. Literally called Clown's Laughter. But yeah, no, it was a very dominant strat at the time. Who even... Berserker Vlad, I guess? Still the best arts deeps at the time?
Yeah, Berserker single target arts.
Yeah, I think that would have been it. That was before he got 4 buffs too. I think it's actually 3 buffs.
No, we would have had, if we're talking single target arts, we also would have had Squirtoria.
Yeah.
It's
true, Saber Lancelot. That would be a little, that would require some extra braining, but.
Did Gatia count as male? Did people do some Urali strats with that? I don't actually know.
I mean, somebody said they used Maeve earlier, so it might work. Or it could just be because she was the big damage. Who knows?
Big damage.
Chat, let us know if what would your hypothetical arts comp for Gatia have been? Your quick comp would have just been more Berserker lot. Yes, and I don't just mean stall with Jean. And that doesn't actually work because doesn't he pierce Sinvol at some point?
I don't remember.
One of the fights does. It's been a long time. Dear Lasengle, if you're listening, let us repeat story fights. I can't even remember some of this shit. He buffs Strift. Well, that's just as awful. The turn 1...
How dare.
Okay, the turn 1 Piercing Bowl. That's why you gotta use the buff block strat, because you gotta stop him from doing that on his turn. Anyway, we're way off topic on the Gatia front. But yeah, like I said, there's some different things going on.
Yeah, Assassin Shiki.
Yes, Assassin Shiki, quality unit.
Gives all the stabs.
I'm pretty sure he's immune to instant death, but, still a very, very well-rounded free NP5.
So, with that, let us move on. This next one comes from Master Dreams of Bunny Girl Skahawk, who says, question, with a new lotto event on the way, do you have any plans to go beyond the 10 boxes that usually hold the main payout items? And if so, do you have any specific number of boxes you are aiming for? Lucky will do what he always does. He says he'll go for 50 and, maybe get 30 to 20-ish.
I'm probably going to aim for the usual 20-ish boxes, especially because, I'm going to be honest, the grand prizes for this event aren't grand.
No.
There's no special CE or anything. It's the obligatory 100. God damn, Christ. Everybody does do this question every lotto. We are not really particularly super try hard, but I do want skill gems, so I do want to actually put in some effort if I have the time, which I probably will.
We'll try.
But the grand prizes is nothing. The first 5 is faux pas. It's literally nothing. But it is very good for QP because there's a lot of QP in the boxes, and then also the special currency you get from the boxes is good for more QP. I'll explain the math later if you don't already know the formula.
The math.
But it's the fall lotto is usually very good for EXPs and skill gems, which I don't really need a crazy amount of EXPs, though obviously I did just get Lancer Lee to level up, so I got a few things lying around, but most of my currently in use servants are leveled. I've got a couple of low rarities I could round out, but the skill gems are where it's at. That's what I need, some juice, some action. But like I said, I set incredibly realistic goals for me, which is just I could probably do 20. That way, if I do more, I'm pleasantly surprised. If I get a 25 or a 30. And if I don't, then I'm just whatever. I'm not good at this. I'm good at mustering the willpower to not spend Saint Courts. I am not good at mustering the willpower to do lots of lotto boxes. It's like a min-max system.
And with that, we move on. This next one comes from The Eternal Storm, who says, hey guys, hope you are both well. Weather's been crazy lately, though oddly follows a pattern. Question, since the Grail Front is happening, any tips that you would like to share? My number one tip, don't stress. I know that's somewhat hypocritical for me, but I'm still gonna say it. Do as I say, not as I do.
Very good.
I totally just jumped over that fucking van. What the fuck? Sorry, look, he has abandoned cleaning his keyboard, has now returned to playing Lost Judgment, where I'm doing sick tricks on my hoverboard. Why does this 38-year-old Japanese detective have a fucking hoverboard? Don't ask questions.
In the year 2021. How do you do, fellow kids? If you want my tips on the Grail Front, well, you're just gonna have to wait for the pregame. You have to wait till after mailbag. Don't just click the time code and skip to the pregame. How dare you?
Pretty sure that this game actually makes a joke about that.
I don't see how you... If you know anything about the internet, which I assume at least the translation team did, I don't know how you could not see an old-ass Japanese detective man with a skateboard and not think of the fucking Steve Buscemi meme. Because Steve Buscemi has, like, always looked old. That's not actually true. I think he did at some point, but, you know.
It was just, because I think I was literally joining the skateboard club, and they're like, and Yagami's just all like, what am I supposed to do? Just run up to him, go, how you doing, kids? And I was just like, wait a minute. Yep. Anyway, I'm probably, well, actually, even if I do beat it tonight, I might just keep playing it and just do side shit. So look forward to Lost Judgment tomorrow. Okay. Hopefully we will not get another fucking copyright.
Well, just so long as we don't play any credits or another intro, we're probably fine. That means I'm still kind of sort of correct. I suspected it would either be more of that or it would be a Yakuza game because they're all on PS Plus now.
I could do a Yakuza game, but like I said, I don't want necessarily, like, the only one that I've beaten is 1. I own, like, the original Yakuza and Yakuza 2, and I've only beaten Yakuza and in the remake, so well, I guess technically I can say Judgment too, because technically it's the same universe. And yes, it is actually a fucking hoverboard. It has jet engines on the back. It has this blue glue on the internet. It's like actually stays off the ground. I go fast with it, but very new. I thrashed the skate part with it. You guys don't have to fucking recommend me shit. I've already said I love the Raw Yakuza series and I plan on playing it all. Don't you at me with thinking that you're actually recommending it to me.
I mean, we've literally talked about being excited.
Yes. Like, the only reason why I haven't got them is because, you know, that's a lot of games to buy. And now their PlayStation's just all like, well, no more excuses, fool. And I was like, okay.
Furi. Oh, and some other stuff. But we talked about that at a different date.
Yes. So, let's see here. I'm trying to think if just don't stress, I guess. Like, people always, like, want, like, tips and tricks, and, like, I am not the strategy guy. I am the guy who just throws things at wall until I see what works, and I go, nice. And I'm usually happy with that. So, with that, though, let us move. How big is my backlog of games? Guys, I still have, like...
Don't ask these questions.
Let's see here. Hang on, I'm actually trying to
I know my backlog's not as bad as Lucky, but I know I also still got a backlog. I
still have Trails of Cold Steel 4 to beat. I still need to beat Alteria Ryza 1 so I can play Alteria Ryza 2, which is still in plastic. I need to finish beating Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I still need to find a reasonably priced copy of 2, so then I can go beat 3. Let's see here. Code Vein is mostly done. Tales of Arise is mostly done. Did I beat... No, I did not beat Strangers of Paradise.
That has DLC now.
It does. I think that's the majority. Oh, and I have not beat a single Rotten 3 Hopes. Because again, the lack of golden ending has immediately killed my interest in the game.
Yeah, I'm not too upset of that, but I'm just not in the tactical mood. I think it's because I've been replaying FFTA 2. But I own Far Cry 6. I bought that, like, with my birthday money. You know what? Hopefully you guys remember what month my birthday is. We're now in the month of Lucky's birthday. It is several months later. I haven't put that game in my PS5 at all. I keep downloading free games. I will tell you about my escapades of playing more extra games later. But spoilers, one of them involved I installed the Ezio collection, which is 3 games.
And Lucky's planning on getting more games.
Yeah, Saints Row soon. Doing well. The publisher reported that they've hit close to 120% of their pre-order goals. So if you think the game is not going to do well, too bad. It already did.
Then Omega had to go and post a game trailer, and I was all like, you know, I don't know if I'm into this. And then I actually did some reading and was like, oh no, I'm into this. God damn it.
There's a lot of those trailers.
Like, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on I Was a Teenage Exocolonist tomorrow. Hope you guys are ready. But enough of that as Oh, this man just set me on fire!
Careful.
Sorry. I was not expecting that. I am now burning. He did it again! You bitch!
What an asshole. But no, being subbed to the official PlayStation channel is just like playing fucking Russian roulette of games I want to buy, basically. Like, every day they pull the trigger on 6 trailers and one of them gets me. Like clockwork. I didn't even know this regular game existed, but they just showed a trailer for Cloudpunk, a cyberpunk delivery simulator, which has a next-gen update, and I'm just like, damn, I've never heard of this. What's that? You deliver things in a flying car in a cyberpunk city? Fuck. This is great. Also, there's like, we're subbed to Final Fantasy 14 now officially. There's like 4 fucking music videos they're scheduled to come out. There's a lot of good reviews about Cult of the Lamb, but I have not bit the bullet on that one yet because I have a terrible backlog.
I'm at least trying to get Lost Judgment done before I commit to anything else.
Yeah, that's solid. You're in there.
But let me keep moving on. Excuse me. This next one comes from still MP1, 300 St. Quartz later. I know people, for some people, you know, that's a big deal, but for me, I just go, let's see, I spent minimum $6. In dollars, I spent 680 packs. And usually that runs me with taxes like 88 something. So that's what... I'm doing mental math. I can do this. I can't do this. Hang on. 88.
I thought I made a calculated risk, but man, I'm bad at math.
$528, and that's, let's see, 167 quarts times 6. That's 1,002.
Yep.
No, 6. I spent 2 packs 3 times.
And if pity existed, you would have hit pity, I'm pretty sure. Twice even. Thank you for that, X. I mean, you can't actually hit pity twice because that's not how it works, but mathematically.
It's like I don't want to necessarily downplay anyone else's, lack of fortune or joy and stuff. But when people are like, "Oh, I spent," like, I'm gonna wait. I should not use a patronizing tone. That is very not cool. But when people are like, "Oh, I spent this much and I didn't get that," and I've literally spent like 3 times that amount to the same result, I'm just like,
Yeah, I mean, that's just either that one meme of first time buddy, or it's the fucking Goblin Slayer you get used to it meme. Like, it's one of those. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, a lot of people are. A lot of people I will not necessarily judge, but I will appreciate the fact that they are whale tagged on our Discord. But they're talking about dropping some mad drops. But like we said earlier, we don't know about your situation. This person might be entirely like free to play, right? So, scraping together 300 on just, free to play savings, that can be, stuff. So
it can.
Like you said, we don't want to be condescending, but also, damn, sometimes it just do be like that, It's random.
But they go on to say, question, hey, Lucky Omega, I really enjoy your Lost Belt deep dives. They got me curious. Which of the Lost Belt Kings so far have you hated the most? I mean, specifically in a story sense. For example, Arjuna Alter's treatment of his world pissed me off way more than any of the others. I'm curious how you guys feel about the adversaries we faced so far, and which do you view as the most evil? Well, in my neck of the woods, I don't necessarily use terms, like good or evil, as I have transcended common human ethics and morals. Because everyone thinks they're the hero of their own story, and everyone thinks they're doing right. I think the Lost Belt Kings are actually a very good example of this, as we we clash and butt heads over, on how humanity should be and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was gonna pick two, I won't say 2 that I think evil or that I hate. But the 2, as I can think of 2 off the top of my head, but the 2 that I empathize with the least, I think is a good way to put it. And that would be, funnily enough, Arjuna Alter, as you say, and Zeus. Arjuna Alter, again, it's fairly easy. He doesn't actually look at humanity as humanity, but just another unit in his system. I guess I want to say.
I mean, you can hearken kind of all the Lost Belt Kings to various villain tropes or anti-hero tropes, whatever you want. Like Arjuna Alter's thing, and I will agree, by the way, that is probably the one I emphasize with / like the least. Cause he is the perfectionist villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he just wants everything to be beautiful and perfect and pure and no evil, and it's just like, I don't know. That's. I mean, yes, I know Doman told him he could speed it up, but he still went with it, and, it's part of the system, and...
Yeah, and
I don't know, that's the kind of thing that, talking about, personal morals, ethics, whatever, it's just, yeah, that's the part that I personally, like we said, empathize with the least, because I'm that guy who, when people talk about, your perfect lotto box run, or just anything, I'm just like, nah, perfection is a myth, man. It's you cannot be perfect, and if you attempt to be perfect, to be truly flawless, you're gonna go freaking crazy. I mean, there's people saying things on our chat that I don't agree with, but I don't want to bog down into an argument with chat right now.
Scotty's pure.
Yeah. a lot of people don't like are hating on Skadi. I don't think Skadi is apathetic. She is it's Red Queen syndrome. She is literally running as fast as she can just to stay in place.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't possess the power to do more than like keep the giants like feral basically and also make humans prosper. It's not something she can do. She is like using maximum energy to achieve this stasis. Which is actually like really telling if you've never heard about the Red Queen hypothesis. That's actually like a thing in like evolutionary theory and like sociology and shit. Look it up. It's freaky.
Thank you for passing that, someone.
Yeah. Zeus is definitely kind of like, I feel like Zeus gets some extra energy because him and Wodame pal around. But yeah, he's definitely, when you actually get to like the point of fighting him after you've broken a lot of stuff, it's definitely like you feel like Zeus's chance to be a cool guy kind of drifts away from him a little, I guess is how I'd put it.
Well, yeah, because first, like, when you first, kind of understand Zeus, you think he's just, he's like, he had to make some tough decisions, and, he had to stop a war between his other fans, and, he's trying to do the best for humanity. But then you learn, like, after everything, like, no, he fucking, manipulated everyone, shut everyone down so he could get his way. And then when nothing went his way, it's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna fucking leave. Fuck you all, bye.
Yeah, it's like, yes, he does have to do some of those things, but his reasoning for do them and his, his ends justify the means type shit, like, it gets really under your skin, and you realize, when you actually fight him as, giant Zardoz Zeus, you're like, man, bro, you suck a little bit.
Yeah.
What's that? You're gonna charge your noble phantasm to maximum level, and we're gonna break everything? And Zeus is just like, yo, humans, I'm sorry if I accidentally delete your entire universe, but I have to stop this kid. Oops, I guess. My bad. Which is very Zeus-like, but yeah. I mean, I still think that, like, the writing for Olympus is really good. It's very deep and layered. Literally, they split it into two fucking parts. But yeah.
Like I said, I'm not saying Zeus is badly written, I just empathize with him the least.
Yeah, when you come to the end of the story, you're like, Zeus, we could have solved this so many different ways, and he's just like, but I became giant Godface. And I'm like, that was not the solution to our problem, Zeus.
I am the demiurge. You are supposed to do what I said because I am God. You're just all like,
buddy, let me introduce you to something you don't have in your timeline. Let me tell you a little something about Friedrich Nietzsche.
But like on the opposite, there's like, I do love like Shishou Wong is a fucker, but I understand him. You know?
Yeah, no, I do not agree with his worldview at all. But like, we actually get to have this discussion, right? Like,
yeah,
there's back and forth there. Ivan's a little flat because he's taken a fucking nap the entire time, but like, making him a giant mammoth fight and then his like march to the tree, like, it's kind of the reverse of Zeus, where like, as you get deeper and deeper in Zeus's character, you realize just like, oh man, Zeus is really fucked up. Ivan is more just like, he starts out very flat, and then you actually get to Ivan, you're like, oh, you're crazy, but like, you've got drive, you've got moxie, brother.
He has like ambition, and like, he still wants what's best for his people. He's, a complete tyrant, and, is paranoid about, enemies and whatnot. But at the core of it, he's still someone who cares about his people, his nation.
And he's that's why he, made them all Yaga. He's also like very pious, very driven. Like, that's literally why Kadok has to keep him asleep, because if he was awake and realized there was like an alien god tree keeping his reality alive, he was gonna cut it down himself. Like, he's like, it takes gumption, it takes moxie. We're gonna see how our upcoming Lost Belts turn out, but I think we have at least mentioned every single Lost Belt king that exists so far. So there you go, chat. I know you love those episodes. Get ready for November technically for big boy Heian-kyo stuff.
And I guess I really didn't say much about Skadi, but Skadi is someone who's doing the best she can with what she got. And like, even with like giants and stuff, it's like a lot of people like are just like,
well, I mean, also, if you think about like the giant thing, like, but they're part of the world too.
Exactly.
Like, it's all part of the system. And
it's like you're a human, so usually like people like will want to side with humans and whatnot. But what if you're not actually human? Who do you side with? Yeah,
and Skadi is a goddess and also part giant, so she sees the giant as her people. That's why she gives them the mask. And like, it's not until you stop Surtur, that, like, she can completely control the giants because Surtur's not fucking it up, and then her world could have expanded, which is why the ending is, like, really strong. It's a really good... Lost Spell 2 is really good, guys.
So it's like, no,
Like,
I do love seeing the Lost Spell Kings and seeing, like, what drives them and seeing it, because it's like, even though, like, many of them are inhuman, they still can represent, like, various facets of, like, human understanding and empathy and whatnot.
It's kind of interesting. I assume some of it's just because, like, I mean, Zeus is Zeus. We just talked about how he's the demiurge and everything. That's kind of a thing that's hard to, like, parse in, like, in the game terms, you know, as a unit. But, like, I do think that, like, every Lost Belt King we've got, like, does Skadi have an interlude? I think it's the only one who wouldn't if she doesn't. But, like, I'm pretty sure there's at least one Arjuna altar interlude. He shows up. Yeah, Skadi has an interlude. Like, and if Arjuna Altar doesn't have an interlude, he does still show up a decent number of times in, like, events. They just didn't give him banners. But, like, we get a decent chance to pick most of these characters' brains, other than, like I said, Zeus. And part of that might just be because that story was so long, we got to deep dive really good. Or it might just be, like I said, it's hard to format him in the game. And I mean, we get a lot of juice out of Wodaime as well, and it's telling that, like, Wodaime's fight is after Zeus. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, like, there's a lot to be had for these characters that, like, we get to unpack, and so we get to, like, actually get in there and look at them. Like I said, I did Qin Shi Huang's interlude earlier, and it's like, okay, he doesn't have an interlude. Well, he's showed up in a couple of events, though. That's probably because he's voiced by Nobunaga, and we like to keep referencing him. And that one time he was in space. What about when he was in space and he had Tesla's hair?
Also, Axe, remember, yes, Skadi's a huntress, but she also accidentally killed her own dad, so she might be a little leery about, you know, just firing from the hip sometimes. Maybe a lesson you should learn, eh?
But yeah, let's see. There's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
It was just kind of, chat's moving very fast, so I'm kind of mulling over my points. But yeah, we have a lot of commitment to these Lost Book King characters, so we can really unpack them a lot, and it helps out a lot. Right, Qin Shi Huang's interlude, that I was talking about. Like, that has a arguably unnecessary but still very good, like, conversation about, like, how he came to be summoned, right?
Right.
And, like, all that stuff out there. It involves, you know, technically I think, so in the interlude he calls it the Sage Realm. I assume that means the reverse side of the planet.
I would
which
assume
is,
so.
as far as we know, isn't smoothed over, so I think he takes a shortcut through the reverse side to find proper human history. So, yeah, like, it's pretty interesting. There's definitely some stuff and some things there.
Built-in lore.
Yeah. So, like, we get to take a look at all this stuff with these characters. So there's a lot of building there, but I do generally agree that, like, Arjuna Altar, as he actually appears in the Lost Belt, is probably one of the, like, I mean, he's almost literally not human. You don't really get to, like, interact with him at all. He's just a weird, strong, cold guy. He's very classic anime villain. Down to the part where his, like, facade cracks when you get Super Karna, right?
Right.
We make a lot of DBZ jokes for a reason about Lost Belt 4. Not that it's not rad, it's just the character writing is different.
But let us move on.
Yibs.
So, with that, we move on. The next one comes from the Tyrant King, who decided to Grail Kama right away after her interlude, after sitting on the fence about whether or not to do it for a year. I mean, I'm pretty sure, when did I grab my combo? Like, super fast. But they say, question, hey, Lucky Kyogre and Omega Groudon. With the Pokemon World Championship going on this weekend, I wanted to ask, what is your experience with Pokemon as a franchise? And will Omega stream Scarlet Violet or Legends Arceus? Anyway, that's it for me. Sending good vibes your way. Wah, 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 wah. And hope you have a nice weekend. Also, good luck if you're rolling for Skahawk Monday. My experience with Pokemon as a franchise, I mean, when I was a kid, that was the thing. It was hip. It was cool. I loved it. I played it a lot. Someone actually tried to steal my copy of Pokemon Blue. I went and beat him up and took it back.
Nice.
It was one of those things of, like, I couldn't find my Blue. I saw my friend was playing it, and then I looked at him and was like, wait a minute, these monsters look really familiar.
That's my copy.
That's my copy! And that was the moment when that boy knew he fucked up.
I actually lost my copy of Ruby somewhere. I mean, I'm old school. I mean, it's funny you say, Axe, that people keep thinking of me as a Pokemon person. I mean, I would say I am. We all did the kid stuff, watched the anime, played some of the trading card game. I don't do that now, though, because the trading card game did not appeal to me in the same visceral way that Yu-Gi-Oh! Does. And I played a shitload of the games. I played, like, every generation of Pokemon regularly. It's just, I've talked about this before. There was this issue I had where there was this thing called the Nintendo 3DS. I never got that thing. I spent those years buying extra PS3s because I broke mine, and, the PS4 and stuff, and other things. So, like, everything that was on the 3DS, everything that we put there because the Wii and the Wii U were weird, that's just like a gaping hole in my backlog. So, I'm not a Pokemon person in the sense that, like, I fight the same fight of the whatever. I mean, I was very lucky. I got thanks to my brother-in-law working at Target, I got a Nintendo DS for Christmas the year it launched, when it was very in demand. I don't have time to play every 3DS game on an emulator. Also, no, I don't want to play Pokemon Sun. I know how to play Pokemon. Everybody tells me that game is really slow because it has tutorials for newbies. I don't need that shit.
And this right here is one of the reasons why I stopped playing Pokemon, by the way.
Well, and that's kind of the thing, right? Like, I say, I'm not a Pokemon guy in the sense that, like, I was out of the community for a while, but I really like... I mean, it can, actually, because I have emulated things that are DS adjacent. This thing's not that much of a toaster. It's big enough to emulate I mean, I don't care about Dallas, you're asking the wrong questions. I played Pokemon as a child. You think I give a shit about the writing? I don't give a fuck. What's the big there's a spooky gribbly monster, and then there's 3 spooky gribbly monsters, and there's like an extra spooky gribbly monster.
And there's some team trying to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, there's always some asshole team. Yeah, whatever. I liked Sword and Shield, and I don't care that Pokemon people are upset by that. I got a Sword Wolf, and I fought a Draco Lich, who was also an alien. It was fine. Like, I don't really follow Pokemon, like, tightly enough to, like, understand the, like, game-to-game complaints. And this, by the way, is probably why, to answer that other question, I won't be streaming Pokemon games, because I don't really want to... First of all, I don't want to deal with people asking me, am I doing a Nuzlocke every 5 minutes? I've already discussed that to death. I don't like Nuzlocks. But Pokemon is a game that I really feel like I don't want to be backseated on. And just, like, I don't know. It's not a vibe that even with our community, I, like, want to get into streams. Yeah, I guess I am a Pokemon casual. I never cared very much about, like, competitive and, like, deep dive in the mechanics and shit. I like Pokemon as a game series still, right? Like, the fact that they put Sword and Shield on the Switch was really good for me, and I had a lot of fun doing that game, like, seeing different stuff and getting new Pokemon and whatever. And it sounds like Violet and Scarlet are going to be cool. Scarlet, by the way, all the way. I have heard some people say that Legends Arceus is, like, really relaxing. We've just talked about my video game backlog. I don't have time for it, but, like, people have said it's actually, like, really fun and zen to play and stuff like that. So, that I could possibly see, like, picking up. I don't know if I would want to stream, but we've had some chill streams before. But yeah, so streaming Pokemon, probably not. If I was gonna stream something, it would be if I ever got around to new Pokemon Snap, just because that's hilarious. Like, Snap, a great game, and I never got around to actually playing the new one yet, because again, terrifying backlog. Especially if fucking Warriors games on the Switch still did not beat Age of Calamity. It's okay, they haven't actually... The Breath of the Wild sequel is still called the Breath of the Wild sequel, so I've got time to catch up on my lore. Honestly, it's much... Not that I don't like Age of Calamity, I just feel like it's much more likely that I'm going to bite the bullet and buy the Season Pass for all the extra DLC and do Breath of the Wild itself again. Just because I'm a lunatic, but I don't want to do that. I have other things to play. So many games, oh my god. I don't even know what those words mean. Well, I know what BDSP is, but anyway, yeah.
I'm just gonna start making up random acronyms and act like everyone should know what the fuck they mean and mock them when they don't.
So, yeah. Like I said, I don't think I'll stream mainline Pokemon just because, like I said, that's not a game I want to be backseated on and like, be in the ethos of Pokemon people, because as we brought up earlier, Pokemon is one of those fan bases that, like, I just don't like to interact with. It's like interacting with the greater Fire Emblem community. I like a decent number of Fire Emblem games. I just don't like to talk to people about Fire Emblem usually, who aren't like Lucky and Dallas and Axe and the rest of the crew. I'm not gonna buy Soul Hackers 2.
I'm very simple with
Soul Hackers 1.
I think I'm usually okay to talk to with a lot of things because I almost never talk about mechanics. I usually just talk about characters.
Yeah. And yeah, like, we don't usually deep dive on gameplay stuff usually because the gameplay's good or it's not, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're playing it, you're probably putting up with it. Yeah, but if I never played the first game, why would I be interested in the sequel? I mean, I don't know. Other than the fact that Dallas said, except, are you talking about, like, the Zelda community doesn't suck? I guess the Zelda community seems neat. I like their lore videos. I was thinking of our discussion about game mechanics. I will say, with Breath of the Wild, I think everybody and their mother has said needs more tools, needs more dungeons, but, like, other than that, everybody's like, the game is perfect. Which means that it's not perfect, by the way, because it doesn't have the thing you want, but, like...
It definitely doesn't have the thing I want, but I play it.
I mean, I've kind of had adjacent. There's a reason why I don't watch Game Grumps play any Legend of Zelda game ever anymore. But I feel like there is some tension among Legend of Zelda people about, like, oh, you haven't played this specific game, or, oh, you don't love this specific game. But, like, there's still a little bit of wiggle room.
I think that's in general for all fandoms.
Yeah,
like,
with long-running franchises.
Like, people, you gotta treat fandoms like you do, like, political fucking parties. There's gonna be the party, and then there's gonna be a bunch of fucking little subsets and factions in it that subscribe to a certain train of thought.
Yeah.
And while they all act like they're all, you know, one big group, actually they fucking hate each other's guts. That's the way I treat it.
Not to make this too long of a tangent, but, like, my personal Zelda experience is, like, yeah, that's true, Skyward Sword. Like, my Zelda bell curve, though, is very weird. Speaking of Skyward Sword, like, I played, like, one of the Oracle's games. I think it was Seasons, like, as a kid. I think I still got the cart around here somewhere. On the Game Boy Color. And, like, I played a lot of Link to the Past. I've never beaten it because that, not the actual Ganon's Tower, but the dungeon before that, the 8th dungeon, is fucking hell.
Turtle Rock?
Actually, it might be Tower of Ganon. I don't know. No, it is Turtle Rock. You're right. Yeah, that one's fucking...
No, trust me. That
always kicked my ass.
I have not beat it because of that exact same reason.
Oh, hey, buddies. But, like, I did not own an N64, so I don't have a lot of experience with, and again, no 3DS, don't have a lot of experience with Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time, but I understand the beats.
Oh, man.
But, like, I did have a friend who owned a GameCube, and together we played through all of Wind Waker, including going on GameFAQs back in the day to find the fucking Triforce pieces. And, like, I'm still like, please, Nintendo, please put Wind Waker on the Switch. And Twilight Princess. That was the one I played solo by myself first on the Wii. So I was swinging swords.
I went right into the fucking post.
And, like, obviously I skipped Skyward Sword because of the motion control extras and stuff. But I came back to the HD remaster, and I think the game's pretty alright. There's still some weird stuff with, like, the controls, but it's mostly pretty okay. The story's fine. I think most people were just, like, double butthurt because the controls were kind of janky back in the Wiimote days. You needed the Motion Plus and shit.
Alright, so we've gone from, like, Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Legend of Zelda, and all that stuff. I'm bring it back to Pokemon, because I actually wasn't done with my full thoughts there, but Omega just does not shut up.
Yeah, well, also, we're having a live chat experience. They're very easy to goad me. Go ahead, Lucky. I'm gonna take.
But, like I said, so... Like, I got started with Pokemon Blue back in the day, and I picked up Pokemon Silver because I was a fucking Lugia stan. Y'all can fucking fight me on that one. And that's basically where I stopped. Like, I never got into one any after that. I tried picking up Pokemon, what was it, Y? Pokemon Y on the 3DS.
X and Y was
and try giving that a roll, and I was like, fuck yeah, Hawn Edge and stuff like that. But I was like, I didn't get that far in it. I'm just like... And it was that moment I realized, like, no, Pokemon, like, isn't for me anymore. It's just, like, a bunch of little things that just, like, irritate the shit out of me. It's like, why do Pokemon only have 4 moves? Why does this 12-year-old kid have powered, like, world-ending power? It's all, like, where is the supervision in this?
Pokemon is just based on the fact that you don't ask those questions.
It's like, why? It's like... Is there really a point besides, you know, everyone just trying to collect as many fucking shinies as possible? What is the reason? It's like, I'm like, you know, I realize, like, yeah, it's literally a fucking, it's just a collectible game. That's all Pokemon is. You go, you get the thing, you try to get the best thing, and then you show off to your friends that you got the best thing, and when they don't agree with it, you slap the shit out of them until they agree with you. That's all it is. You can gussy it up all you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think speaking of, like, why are we doing this? I do think some of the games, like, do a better point of, like, all right, you have a reason to, like, challenge the Pokemon League or whatever, but you are fundamentally correct. All of them do have that, like, base concept that we just don't really question, right?
Right.
Like, yeah, sure, you pick a starting Pokemon from the professor for some reason, and you just decide to challenge the Pokemon League. Like, usually the professor is fucking outsourcing the Pokedex to you for some ungodly reason. I guess just because every other fucker in academia did, right? I mean,
It's always-
but no, you're still collecting stuff just to make better stuff. That doesn't mean anything. You're just saying Lucky's different argument. Like, Pokemon is the same way. You're collecting different Pokemon so you can have different type coverage for the tactical rock, paper, scissors bullshit. But that doesn't actually matter. The fundamental question is why. Well, a lot of people are talking about shiny hunting. I'm just like, damn, son, I never got that far. I'm not Mr. 5 billion resets for a shiny.
It's also one of the reasons why Nuzlocke are so popular is because the base game is, it has its like underlying mechanics, but its base gameplay loop is so basic. People have literally had to be like, all right, I need to spice this the fuck up.
Well, yeah, Pokemon's always been like that. Like, if you think about it in detail, Pokemon mechanically is, like, very complex with, like, hidden stats, and then they, keep adding shit, like they did the ability splits, and, like, add new types and stuff. But fundamentally, the gameplay is still simple enough that, like, literal children can play it. I mean, you can only carry 6 units, but that's still, you can switch anytime in the PC. Hell, I think there are some games where you can, like, as long as you're not actively in a Pokemon battle, you can switch in the fucking field. Like, Pokemon is definitely one of those game franchises where I think Game Freak and the Pokemon Company, like, are not afraid to do weird shit with, like, convenient mechanics, right? Like, starting in, like, it's funny that you stopped back in the Game Boy days, but, like, I think since the GBA era, like, they always give you the running shoes right away because they realized that the default Game Boy speed was too slow.
It was. I remember those days.
God,
when you got the bike,
so long for your fucking bike.
I remember when you get the bike in fucking Blue, you're all like, "Oh, praise Jesus!"
Yeah, you get to go so fucking fast. And then like later games switch up the bikes. Like they'll give you like a slower trick bike to like go up slopes and other weird shit. And then they'll give you the speed bike or the speed gear of the bike, so you can just fucking go fast. Though shout out to Pokemon for having fast travel from the beginning. You have to go very deep in the game to get it, but like they've always had the fast travel mechanic. Fucking fly, dude. God, it's always baller when you get fly finally.
Yeah, so
yeah, the new legendaries are literally motorcycles. It's very weird.
Why not?
Yeah,
I mean, designs are
Pokemon. Who cares?
Yeah. It's like, and that was the other thing. Like the fucking generation fucking arguments, like that literally killed it for me.
Oh, yeah, people who argue, like, older Pokemon have more soul or something.
Yeah, I'm just all like, guys, does it really matter that much? And apparently to some people, it really fucking matters. And when something's so inconsequential to your actual fucking, well, I can't say that it's actually inconsequential, but when something that, is, a children's video game makes you so mad that you have to constantly scream at other people that, don't like your thing, I'm just taken out of it. I really am.
Damn, Dallas got the real one. I was just going to talk about, like, how the OG Pokemon art style was really derpy, but he just brought up Doug Trio. You're correct. Dallas is correct. Doug Trio exists. Your argument is invalid. And I fucking love the later Pokemon that are really weird, like Gorbudge, the fucking garbage Pokemon, the Vanilla Ice, the ice cream one. Garchomp's Brad. I don't know what you're talking about. People shit talk Garchomps? I actually really loved, I don't remember what fucking generation he's from, but the Chandelier one, it's like he's like Ghost Fire. That's fucking cool. I love it. I also love Honedge. Was that 5? Okay, yeah. I think that some of the time the Pokemon team can be like actually like really creative and stuff and actually do some cool shit. And then Garbodor, my beloved. Yeah, no. I mean, like Muck and Grimer are literally pools of purple crap, like literal sewer scum. But it's just one of those things where like you gotta let it be, and it's just classic nostalgia baiting, right? Like everything that was old was better. It's a lie. Not everything that was old is better. I've been watching a fuck ton of like people talk about WoW Classic videos because I don't know, I just love siphoning off people's retroactive nostalgia. But like, goddamn, how did that video game survive like 15 years? It sucked when it was old. It was not better. Fucking 40-second stuns. You're stupid. I don't. How was this popular? Why do people like this? Like, it's so. Nostalgia is a really interesting sensation. I know I have it about stuff, and I know that it makes me be like, I don't give a fuck. Like you said, Lucky, like you tried later Pokemons and you just weren't into it anymore, right? Because you didn't have that nostalgia. I have some nostalgia for Pokemon. I was committed for quite a few years, and after I was like basically forced to take a break and like come back, I was like, oh yeah, I don't know what people are talking about. This is great. People are fucking like, oh my god, Game Freak's so lazy with the animation. It's not HD. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I haven't played a Pokemon game in like 5 years. Who cares? Who cares what it looks like?
I'm convinced that the whole fucking can your computer run crisis is what kicked off this entire you have to have the best fucking graphics and the best fucking computer ever. I'm really starting to think that, by the way.
I mean, it was definitely an EP thing back in the day, was could you run Crysis? Like, that was a big deal. And it's weird. I mean, I think it was optimized fine. It's just, it did actually have, like, a lot of particle effect. But a lot of games had that shit.
Well, it is kind of true what he means, but it's not optimized well, because it was not optimized to work necessarily well on low to middle tier machines.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it was, that is the correct word then, optimized. It was not spread out well, but it was obviously designed for hardware at the time, just the high-end stuff. And I mean, back in the day, before consoles basically became relatively inexpensive gaming PCs, I say relatively, again, I've been like just killing time while doing FGO and doing other games and stuff I'll talk about and writing shit, on What's Up, by the way, which is our podcast that is normally like this. But chat, as I said, it's very easy for chat to bait me into a tangent, and sometimes it's easy for chat to bait Lucky as well.
I get mad at people,
but like I've been watching some of like Mandalore Gaming's reviews of like old like 2000s era PC games, and like he's not kidding when he shows like the difference when they're like, oh, we made the jump to like console, either console exclusive or multi-platform on console, and like. Back in the PS2 and the first Xbox era, that was a big downgrade. Like, Lucky, you probably didn't know this because you noticed this much because you played Fear, like, all at once, and, like, years later on your PC. But, like, Fear 2 went to consoles, and so they really did have to ramp down. The original Fear had, like, a shitload of, like, lighting and particle effects that, like, I think this was technically, like, the PS3 and 360 era, but, like, you know, consoles were not as consistent or high end as PCs, so that they had to dumb down the graphics, and it was real. Now it's like I said, I'm gearing up to when I feel like I've got the right time and approach, and I'll talk more about what I think my time frame is. Later.
I'm sorry, Carlos. I am gonna have to do it. Like, show me that guy so I can slap him, because I'm pretty sure I can fake a fucking bachelor's in IT and computer sciences with how much I had to learn on how to debork my fucking computer when something goes fucking wrong.
Yeah, no. So to interrupt that, somebody in our chat said a PC guy told computers run more consistency than consoles, and that's no, not true. I know some specific consoles have had some hardware faults, but that's kind of a console's thing. They are usually quite consistent, and if they're inconsistent, it's probably because the game is buggy as fuck. Look at you, Bethesda. Yeah, and how much work did you have to do to get your high-end setup though? Like, that's, yeah, it's all the thing. Oh, fuck yeah, if I had batteries, I could turn on my Game Boy Color or my Game Boy Advance right the fuck now. My fucking DS, I need to buy a new battery for it, but that fucker still runs to this day, and it's got, like, a partially cracked, fucking pivot. But no, what I was gonna say was that I've been watching some of those old, like, Mandalore Gamings and seeing those differences, and, like, it's really interesting how that used to be a big deal, and then we kind of, like, evened out, to the point where, like, I literally was doing research into the PS5 version of Final Fantasy XIV because I didn't know it was, like, out yet. And, like, reviewers are like, yeah, no, I didn't notice any difference running this on my PS5 versus on my, you know, probably not brand spanking new, but current gen gaming PC, right? Like, and that's just where we're at. I've put some hours into the Demon Souls remaster. It looks beautiful. It still plays like a piece of shit. I have issues with Demon Souls. Mostly just gameplay tech stuff. Also, GIFs you can hear, y'all.
I was literally typing that, but my caps lock is locked because I think I cleaned it too hard.
I don't know if they sharpened up the controls. It's still very soupy, and I don't know if it's just because my controller is still being a little bit weird, but I cannot consistently sprint in the Demon Souls remaster. It's very weird. Also, my main problem is your lock-on range is terrible, but enemies can shoot at you with their dumbass little crossbows from, like, far away. No, I don't think you can rebind anything. I think I did look at that. Yeah, like I said, my controller's a little weird, but I will say, if, like, the fact that I sometimes have a phantom up input, if the fact that, like, my game gets a little wiggly with whether I'm holding up or not, and that borks the sprint, I feel like you may have a problem with your game, because that's it. It's just, sometimes I have, like, a phantom up stick. Yeah, but that's the first level, Axe. I'm literally not having this conversation. I have this rant saved for tomorrow.
People are just going all out with the fucking...
Yeah, we're just posting video game startup gifs, all of which I can hear. But we should probably move the fuck on. I really do want to save the Demon Souls conversation and some other stuff for another
time. I have
time.
to put this. It's like, no gif, actual sound.
Yeah. I don't think that'll be a problem if I played that. That would be recorded, but here, audience at home, enjoy with me. Very classic.
So this is supposed to be a podcast about Fate Grand Order.
Yeah.
Axe,
We've
count.
only wasted. Also, no, it's not the second question. We're actually quite far. We're like halfway through, I think. A little under half.
We're at 8. We're at
okay,
8
a little
of
under
20.
half.
Yeah.
No, we got a decent ways.
All right.
It has been 20 minutes though, so yes, we should move on.
We shall move on. This next one comes from Moon is concerned since she gained 4 kg, around 9 pounds. Excuse me, it's supposed to be 8.8 pounds. In 2 weeks.
How are you fucking...
What?
Sorry, just belting off the conversion tables.
But they say, hello there, Lucky Omega. Hope you're doing well. What are you craving right at this moment?
I mean, technically, probably sleep, but that's because it was fucking hot last night and I did not sleep so good. I'm pretty good. I'm just drinking water.
I just drowned my water bottle.
Games. Yeah, well, since that tangent, I may need to do a water run after we're done with mailbag.
See, I'm currently craving burrito. Lucky did not get his burrito today. We decided to try and maybe start up a little bit early, and I was all like, all right, let me order a burrito. I go to my usual place that gives me the very good breakfast burrito. And it was like, we're not accepting orders at this time. You can order it at like 4:45. I'm all like, but
I'm hungry now.
And so I literally had a existential crisis where I'm laying on the floor debating what to do. I had some trance wave going on. It was great.
Solid. And I mean, I don't want to like call you out or anything, and you don't have to elaborate, but I did try to push for starting earlier because I got the sensation that you were hanging around and not at work because you were posting about getting your PvP clears in Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm like, oh, wonder if Lucky's home already, or if he didn't go out.
No, I ate an entire pan pizza yesterday, and my stomach decided to rebel this morning, so I went to work, and I was like, I'm gonna, like, I told my job, I didn't say these exact words, but the gist was like, I'm gonna destroy these toilets if I stay here, so I'm gonna go home and destroy my toilets.
Yeah, no, so that's because I had the notes done in a reasonable time frame, and like I said, I was up earlier today because I did not sleep good, so we're just all being early today.
I mean, technically, I think we did get a little bit earlier, but
yeah, we're about an hour and a half into the recording. Yeah, just crossed an hour and a half raw, and it's only 9:15.
Yeah, no. Let's see. Let me double check the time codes here. All right, yeah. So Omega basically at 3:12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time told me like we're done, and me in my classic way just responded with "aight," and then let's see here. Let me do some math here. That's 47 plus 5. So 52 minutes later, I said, I have consumed bagel sandwich. I had to get over the existential crisis that is no burrito.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, there was a good just half hour of me just like,
Also, by the way, if you guys don't know, if you're not part of our mod team and can see this, that is usually how, quote unquote, work conversations with me and Lucky go. It's just like, somebody says something like, okay, I'm eating or I'm ready to go or whatever, and the other one is just like, yep.
Hey, I will do
positive thumbs up.
I will give you guys a peek. This is literally what the conversation looked like.
Yeah, there we go. That's us. It's just how the business goes.
So, we shall move on. This next one comes from Bunny Girl versus an Island Sanctuary and LOTTO event, Heaven and Hell, back to back. Let's rock. Final Fantasy XIV is going wild with their Island Sanctuary, by the way. They're actually collabing with a fucking farm in Great Britain where they just, I don't know if the cameras were set up previously or whatever, but you can just go on their Twitch, watch feeds, and people get to vote on, like, naming the animals or what they get to feed them and stuff. I'm like, this is wild. We're really going all in on 6.2.
Neat.
Why are there 80 MSQ between me and Heavenwards? Because we got a lot of setup to do, Axe. A lot.
Because this game is been out for, like, 7 years.
And I want you to consider this, Axe. Consider this. There used to be more. They streamlined this like twice already.
Swag. I'll enjoy the streamlining later.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we doing? Present a question, right?
Your question.
Alias, right?
Yes. Evening, since Skafes Fes, red flag, is coming soon. I was just wondering if you guys had any recommend on what servant and CE comps you want for support for farming. Good luck on the lotto, and may you get a lot of lotto CEs this time around.
I mean, I don't need a lot. I just need one. But, yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be weird. For reasons we'll get into in the pregame, but the nodes for this event are a little weird. I would honestly say probably what people are looking for with lotto farming is just extra lotto CEs and, like, maybe some low cost. Because, again, the low cost gets higher attack boost. So if you're, like, a lunatic who has, like, a grailed Arash or some other weird shit, maybe do that weird flex. But other than that, yeah, just throw your lotto CEs up. That's what people want. Also, probably people want your Castorias for, super NP juice, go fast farming.
Bad, you get in Tamamo.
I mean, that works, just people need to plan their team comps accordingly. As discussed, Castoria does not invalidate Tamamo.
Despite how many people might say it.
We're going to get into this later when we can talk about the other new summer servants, but the problem with people thinking blah 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 invalidates blah 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 is they just look like, oh, this unit does this, oh, this unit does this, arts support, arts AoE, they're the same, and then you don't actually look at like how they do those things, and then you don't realize like, oh, wow, other than the fact that they both have large arts ups and some number of battery, Castoria and Tamamo don't have a lot of overlap.
Trying to clean my computer with my giant ass fucking knife, and I'm starting to think this is probably a bad idea.
It probably is a bad idea. No, I don't believe I believe this was brought up earlier. Actually, does not have a compressed air can handy.
I do have compressed air can, but it doesn't matter because all the dust is off and everything's gunked on. I have to scrape/clean everything off.
You get the buildup.
And there's all the stuff underneath the keys.
Yeah, we need some cleaning solution.
That's why I need the micro screwdriver so I can undo the back so I can remove the circuit board so I can just be like, be gone, Satan, and throw it in some hot water.
Works pretty good. Oh, sorry, stretching my leg. Got a little bit of a stiff.
What is it saying? Maybe a little bit. Who knows what's gonna come out of this goddamn keyboard when I'm done with it. Apparently there was enough gunk in there to temporarily clog my caps lock, so I'm just like, ugh.
That is not great. That is how you say, no good.
The hot water soak would be fine. It'll help me break up some of this stuff. The thing is, it's only I can't do it with the fucking actual thing. I have to remove the circuit board and the plastic thing.
Yeah, you get all the electronic parts out. But just hot water with like a little bit of soap added will just... Guys, you don't understand how fucking corrosive water is. Because you're made of it. But like, water will get some shit. H2O is very reactive.
And if nothing else, I'll take a fucking pressure washer to it. I'll see how many keys I lose to it, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Wash simulator.
Let's see.
The game is co-op, by the way.
Why?
I don't know, because it's very zen. People seem to enjoy it. Fucking like, I think I talked about this story. Markiplier started a podcast with other YouTubers inside of Power Wash Simulator, just because it's a thing. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that.
But knife. Let's see here. Sorry. This next one comes from Commandant of the Purifying Force. They say, "Greetings, Lucky Omega. No major questions this week. Just wishing everyone good vibes. Wah 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 wah. And good luck for next week's Grail Front event. Thank you very much. Same to you. We move on. This next one comes from Hassan of the Bankrupting Summer. Let me click this. Read more. I think I got bamboozled a little there.
Yes, you did. I could tell. No, it's just they added extra line breaks for no reason.
Well played. Well played. Hey, Lucky Omega. Of all the summers so far, what would you say your favorite designs? Top, it's fucking Ibuki. Just Ibuki. Look at the thumbnail. You'll understand why.
Yeah, there's a lot going on that I find great about that one. Honestly, all the summers are, like, really good, and, like, sometimes in stupid ways. If y'all haven't, look up Wu's second Ascension Summer Wu. I think it's got more clothes on that are more time-appropriate than her original release. But, there's a lot of fun stuff when they flex. Like, obviously, Summer Say from next year has, like, a lot of different things going on. Brite also went crazy designing Summer Murasaki, right? Like, there's a lot of good stuff, but I'm just trying to think. Is there anything that's, like, super, super good? Like, because obviously it's usually the later units get the more advanced stuff.
I mean, we're talking overall fucking summer designs. Like, I will say, everyone bow before Summer Kama. Just the amount of work on that one.
Yeah, that's the very different draws on all three sprites, as usual.
Real talk, when I first saw Caster Wu's Final Ascension, I really thought her hands were underneath her swimsuit, and I was just like,
Oh, I'm fairly certain the artist has drawn them that way. I think no, she does have gloves on.
yeah, she has gloves on, but it was just drawn.
The artist has deliberately drawn it so you think that they're placed that way.
But no,
Contours, man, how do they work?
Let's see here. But yeah, Buki's up there, Samakama's up there.
I mean, Summer Musashi with tan. Very solid work. Also some decent variance between her different ascensions.
Tamama's up there, but that's just because she's Tamamo.
I mean, I think Wadarko did a good job on Tamamo Summer, like with the t-shirt element and stuff and the different costumes. But like I said earlier, a lot of the earlier servants designs are a little more simple, and before FGO decided to just be fucking crazy.
Actually, I do like Summer Ilya's design. Actually, I think the clear coat is a very nice touch, especially since it has cat ears.
Yeah, she's got a lot of fun stuff. Like I like Summer Mordred because tan Mordred, but it's not that crazy of a design, right? Like it's pretty straightforward, and a lot of them are too.
Summer Raiko, well, nice. Isn't actually anything really to write home about. Same with like Summer Kyo and Marie, Jalter. Sorry, I'm just like mentally running through lists. I'm trying to think of like any particular standouts. Helena's is interesting. I don't know if I'll necessarily say that I like it.
Yeah, they got some extra steps.
Martha's, again, is one of those nice ones, but it's like, instead of like it necessarily being more Summer, I feel like, it's just Martha just willing to fucking punch people to the moon. Which is interesting and fun in its own way, but...
Yeah, they like you say, they did the work, but the work is just, it's a swimsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, there's the hat in the first one, then the towel, and that's kind of funny, but then it's just like, yep, swimsuit.
Punch!
Like, similar thoughts with, like, Summer Nito. Like, I like it, and the fucking Medjed thing for her first ascension is, like, really funny. But other than that, it's just like, yep, swimsuit. Yep, background.
I guess Maid Alter is pretty fucking cool, too. Literally just gets the over-the-shoulder coat and has just a big-ass sniper rifle.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like to shit-talk Takuji, but, like, we did some funny stuff here. Again, this is when we actually get to flex. Summer Carmilla is another one where they, like, do a lot of different variants, because she's got, like, like a summer dress, and then she's a fucking cyber phantom thief with her phantom dogs, and then she's just, like, bikini.
Oh, I'm a vampire.
Maid Alter is the same, where it's, like, yeah, she's got on, like, a swimming dress, and then it's, like, actual maid bikini EGL thing, and then it's, like, okay, I'm gonna wear, like, an evening dress, but with a big coat, and also I have a huge gun, and a sword gun. Like, there's a lot like that. And there's sometimes where it's not, like, crazy. Like, like you said earlier, I like, for instance, Summer Charlotte, that's next year. And her third ascension is, like her third stage sprite is, like, with the full, like, magician's top hat and the, like, burlesque costume. I'm like, Zam. But other than that, it's just like, yeah, Charlotte has a hat. Okay.
Like, I adore Summer Mel, but, it's an interesting design choice because, they remove her fucking murder legs.
Yeah, for more, like, skatey type legs. And obviously, her fucking sunglasses sprite, right? But I think what we're getting at here is that Summers will have a lot of variants, and depending on the artist and the character design, sometimes we go more for, like, wacky or funny or, like, the artist stretching their legs type designs, and then necessarily we go for, like, more fan servicey, sexy swimsuit designs. And sometimes, especially with older servants, you have a lot of characters who are just that character in a swimsuit, and the artist didn't really do anything special, and so they're just not, like, as memorable as some of the others. Like, I don't have any problem with the different designs for, like, Squirtoria, as you call her, Summer Original Artoria, but it is very much like, yeah, we have a couple of official swimsuit designs for Saber. Let's just use those.
Yeah, no.
Like, is there anybody in Summer 1 who is like, for instance, Summer Wu's second ascension, where, yeah, she's just wearing some fucking, weird costume thing.
In Summer 1?
Yeah. We just weren't making those decisions yet, right?
No, Summer 1 was very basic kind of costumes.
Like, it was still good, obviously. Like, we got a decent plethora of servants to go through and got some fun stuff, but it's definitely, like, FGO wasn't as bold and crazy as it was. It was kind of doing the same thing that every gacha game did. It was just like, yeah, I don't know. Yep, Summers.
No, Summer 2 is definitely when they started going, like, weird with stuff, because that's, Summer Nido Chris, that's Summer Nobu.
Yeah.
Nobu in her literal Buster t-shirt. That's a design choice, y'all.
Yeah. And, like, that's only one ascension, but like I said, we're starting to take some risks and get some funny stuff.
But, yeah, I think we spent enough on that one. So let us move swiftly on.
What's your favorite summer design aesthetically? Let us know in the comments. Before we actually move on, though, I think we can. I have the I just remembered the ultimate illustrating point. Look at all our summer welfares. Like, obviously, welfares are locked to one costume, and like, for instance, Jolter's like actual swimsuit design, not crazy. The fact that she has 3 katanas and is such a chuny, great. But literally, our current summer welfare is 3 different tactical Valkyries, and yes, they are wearing swimsuits under their tactical outfits. You can see them in their like final ascensions. But it's still like their default look is just like fucking as the joke Lucky made earlier, Valkyrie's frontline. God, they've got those same goddamn weird shoes. What is it with Japan and the weird shoes in summer? Is that like a traditional thing I haven't picked up on?
Maybe. Anyway, I'm gonna force us forward because
Yeah,
Megan still got the back half and a fucking servants to talk about.
Yes.
So this next one comes from Sakura Fan 07, still prefers Kama over Kiara. I am right there with you. But they say, greetings and salutations, Lucky Omega. OQ was a decent event. Kama is still a bit tsundere towards me afterwards cleaning OQ, but that got me thinking to another event. If when, say, Nasu writes Saber Wars 3, what if somehow Kasuga from OQ gets stuck in the server and first becomes Space Soccer and reunite with Kasuga while dealing with whatever Saber Wars 3 has a story with us? It'd be a unique idea for Nasu and Type Moon to try out, plus more Sakura faces. Would that possibly happen, or would it be better for Kasuga to be a Spiritual Andros for Parvati? I don't know, maybe
Kasuga doesn't look like Parvati, so
yeah. Well, I'm gonna say, great idea. Go talk to Nasu about it. Wishing you guys good luck for your future roles, and let's hope no one dies of shame in the upcoming dance tournament and Land of Shadows, sending good and fun vibes your way.
I don't know how much actual dancing we're supposed to be doing. I think it's a metaphor for punching people.
Dance of death. Or you can be, taking your fucking high school dance team to fucking nationals when you're actually like a almost 40 detective. Lost Judgment is some things, y'all, and I fucking love the dance minigame. How dare it be this nice? It's only 4 songs, but man... Long Drill by the Beach is literally my fucking jam now.
Definitely gonna work on picking up those games probably sometime next month at this rate.
Listen, I think I talked about this like sometime during the week, but playing Lost Judgment has awakened what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say the word demographic because that's
not quite
not quite right. It's a I guess like to use. I know I'm using it as a catch-all phrase, but an aesthetic, a gaming aesthetic. That I didn't realize I wanted.
A mood.
I can't remember where I talked about this. Oh no, wait, this was Monday. This was.
I think this is the Monday stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, technically we did a lot of streams this week because I did like 2 bonus streams because we didn't do prog. So, yeah. And Lucky was there for one of the bonus ones. So we did a lot of work this week.
But Lost Judgment makes me realize is like sometimes you just want to be the authority figure who's actually trying to help these kids.
Got to help kids.
It's like, yeah, no, like, fuck, I've helped a girls' dance team reach nationals. I'm in the robotics club. I'm fucking, I helped out these skateboarding kids. I'm getting this biker gang to realize the error of their ways. I stopped a esports player from, keeping on hacking. Nice. I taught a fucking the link with the joys of boxing. I'm just all like, man, this is great.
This is certainly like a genre, an oeuvre that is not as well represented anymore.
Well, no, it's like I was thinking about it because usually, video games are supposed to appeal to that youth, but no, I'm thinking about it like how many games do you know when your main protagonist is actually just kind of an old man? Like Lost Judgment, Yakami is literally 38 years old.
Yeah, I think some of it, like you mentioned, the demographic. There's definitely a demographic appeal to different groups. But I kind of feel like some of it has to do with like obviously, like for instance, Persona 5 was arguably a very deep cut. Especially given the climate in Japan, but also like all around the world about authority figures and stuff. But, like, I also feel like, especially in America as well, I keep hearing stories every day about how, like, teachers are not, like, regular-ass teachers are not terrible people. They're just fucking horrifically overburdened by the problems of inherent in our public educational system, right? And they just want to help these kids. And, like, I feel like as a society, we're kind of coming back around on that to, like, yeah, no.
I mean, Judgment is literally about this, as, you know, a lot of this story has to do with school bullying.
Yeah, like,
literally.
We're reaching a point where, like, as a society, we can be like, actually, you know what? Some authority figures are okay. People who have more power than us can actually be helpful. They are not intrinsically corrupted by the system. You know, we can do good things together. That's not always true, but, like, I do think you need a mix of both, because, like, I think that Persona 5's message of, like, fuck authority figures, you gotta do it for yourself. You gotta figure out how to find your way in this corrupt world, man. But also, yeah, you know what? Supportive adults exist.
No, so, like, yeah. So,
yeah.
Let us keep moving on. I was gonna talk more about it. I was like, wait, hold it!
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially if you're gonna play it tomorrow, so.
Yeah. But we move on to the next one. This next one comes from sliding in that last minute to boost those mailbag numbers. We gotta get them higher, you know. Hey, look, you make it.
We're gonna hit 2 hours, and part of it's because we've got a big old mailbag. Sorry for cough cutting you there.
That's fine. Hey, look, you make it. Just stopping by to send the good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. And fade back into the nothingness that comes from getting so busy at work that all I've been doing is working and sleeping. This is when you gotta, like, slap a supervisor and be like, stop that.
Well, hopefully you're at least getting well paid for this. And if not, yes, definitely you need to speak to your supervisor.
Before I left, I was actually, one of the reasons I had to leave is because, stress was getting to me because I was chewing out one of my, team leads. Because while I was working, I was doing mostly clothing. And they're all like, why are you only doing clothing? And then I literally went on, like, a several paragraph tangent about how I can only do clothing because there's no fucking carts. So if you want me to do some, like, non-clothing stuff, get me some non-clothing stuff. Otherwise, leave me alone. And they're like, okay, how do we fix this? And I was like, get me some carts. And then I got stressed and I started having the rumblies and the tumblies. Like, nope, I go home now.
I don't feel so good.
Yeah. Listen, if that's the job, if your job does that to your axe, you don't want to work there in the first place.
Correct.
This is why I like my job, is I can get a little mad at them and they're like, okay. Like, they understand that, you know, not everything is fucking perfect and they aren't doing everything the best assist. They'll try their best assist, but when something bad happens, it fucking happens and they try to deal with it.
Good working environment. Thumbs up.
Ow. Yeah, no. If a job tells you you're not supposed to talk about your wage with other people, fuck them.
I mean, that's basically, like, that's the first step to preventing unionizing, right? Collective action is they don't want you to perform any kind of collective action.
Like, how the fuck is it competitive wages when no one knows what the fucking other wages are?
Yeah, how could you compete if you can't compete? That's not capitalism. That's just lying.
Mm-hmm.
That's no free market. That's a fake market.
Like, this is what I tell to everyone: if you're afraid of losing your job because of some bullshit they might try to, just take it from me. Just lose your job. There's more jobs out there. And it's like, people, you have more power than you think, everybody. Ooh, excuse me. Anyway, I wasn't going to call myself an anarchist, because I do believe in the system. I just think the system's a flaw that need to be fixed. I don't think it needs to be ripped down. I don't know what I call that.
Yeah, I don't know. Had a word, started with an R, I lost it.
Reformist. I think a reformist is a good way to put
it. Yeah, reformist.
Yeah. Not anarchist, I'm a reformist.
I'm a bit of a minarchist. Mm-hmm. I do not actually, I was very anarchic in my youth, but as I got older, I realized I can trust humans less. Actual anarchy will... I know that there's all this philosophical shit about no gods, no masters, but fellow anarchy bros, you gotta understand, people be dumb. They'll fuck it up. Like, they fucked up everything. Like, honestly, morally, I have no ethical or moral issues with the system of communism. I just have practical issues with the fact that
someone's gonna fuck it up.
That people keep fucking it up.
Yeah. Well, like I tell people, it's like anarchy exists, but I believe that anarchy exists only as a transition between two states of governments.
Yeah, you usually settle into something else, and if it were to be stable, that would require different tech bases. Like you would need to truly redistribute the means of production and all that shit, which is hard, and we're not at We're not at that perfect, no working society yet. Somebody
Maybe
has to
one-
drive
if-
trucks and shovel shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we're not here for our political / working class opinions, I guess.
Our moral, ethical, and philosophical opinions. You want to hear our FGO opinions?
Yes.
Sorry, got hit by a tired wave.
Oh no!
I'm okay. I just needed, when we're done with mailbag, I'm going to take a second and splash some water on my face and fill up my water bottle. But we're trucking.
We trucking. This next one comes from Hero who is saved by upcoming Lotto to finally reach that level 120 Summer Musashi. Powerful, very powerful. They say, "Hi, Lucky Omega. With the upcoming Lotto event, we will finally be best by Scunny Bahawk, which of course I have as an actual figure standing on my shelf. I mean, yes, this is why we literally have this costume. Because some mad lad would like Bunny Skahawk, and then someone at fucking Delightworks went, yo, that's rad. I have a very important question that needs to be answered. Who else needs to be getting a bunny outfit in the future? I don't mean like bunny ears like Shiki, but a full-on bunny costume. Of course, I want Musashi to get one, but I might be biased. Wishing you all the best in rolls and health, and may we all call the Lotto Bunny Fest, because the other name running around is Bad Civ. This is why we call it Skafest!
Like the music.
New trumpets! Who else do I want to see in a bunny suit? Comma? Actually, Redrop! My boy, my lad. You've done a lot of Comma. Have you done Comma Bunny? I don't know.
I'm trying to think who is the most bun. Who is bun?
Besides,
our other literal buns, because there's technically that ascension for Astolfo, Saber, and there's obviously Ruler Artoria.
So clearly, Mordred.
I mean, I can see it, but I also don't know if that would be as funny. Mordred would probably be like, dude, what the fuck? Why do I have to wear the ears? It's just like, shut up and wear the ears, Mordred. I haven't forgotten the great chocolate incident. Where you gave me this candy bar in your pocket. It was delicious, but also, the fuck you.
Morgan. Bunny Ears Morgan, I think, would be amazing.
That's another one. Yeah, don't know why my brain didn't go there. I feel like people have drawn that fan art. It's because Morgan has a very similar body type to adult Artoria. Who could have guessed? And I think
Vargas is dog.
She would look good in the outfit.
I'm pretty sure I have seen art, but it's from a certain dude. Actually, let me.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the costume. There's been a few like gags like this over the years and some stuff in the like CEs and things, but Nitocris is like Anubis ears. I mean, like, y'all, if you've been listening to me talk about other stuff lately, y'all know I'm big on bunny ears gang. But I'm just really trying to think of the classic aesthetic, and I don't know. Maybe Carmilla could pull it off.
I think
vibrating costumes. Like, it's very interesting that FGO never really went that route. Like, it took them this long to do. I mean, like, obviously there was Decapitating Bunny, but that was like a Zodiac, like a Year of the Rabbit reference at the time period. Because like I remember, and I still see them occasionally. Like, I believe that's a big thing with Fire Emblem Heroes is they usually do like spring seasonals with like lots of Easter eggs and rabbit ears.
Mm-hmm.
FGO, like I said, really didn't go super that route. So I don't know my mind. I'm just having a hard time picking up extra aesthetics. Who would it be perfect for? I just need more hats. Anyway.
Anyway, let us move swiftly on.
That is a very awkward magazine. Well, also, hold on. Are you practicing trigger discipline? Only just.
Barely. Listen, that girl's a fucking gremlin.
Oh, I can tell by her face, but I'm just like, it's funny how, like, I like, absorb the bunny ears and the gremlin face, and I'm just like, okay. Now, what's going on with this machine gun? That finger is just barely outside of the trigger guard. But that face says, I cause problems on purpose.
It's so true.
Anyway, we got some more questions to answer.
Dallas, what?
You don't remember that quote from Zardoz? We literally read Zardoz earlier.
Oh, God, that's right, okay.
Zardoz, the game with the movie with Sean Connery, and it starts with the fucking floating giant head shouting, "The gun is good, the penis is evil," as it pukes guns onto post-apocalyptic savage human beings. It's a really fucking weird movie. Go look it up sometime. It is a brain trip. And the effects are like really good for the time period, but it's fucking weird. Fino uses that as a bit notification? Oh, that's fucking rad.
Sounds like something Fino would do.
Nice, buddy. Nice.
So.
Yedge.
This next one comes from a dude sweating profusely and looking respectively. I'm gonna push X to doubt. Eye narrowing.
Yeah, I did my eye narrow.
But they say, hey, Lucky Omega, hope the weather hasn't been too unkind to you. Actually, I'm excited. I got thunderbolts and lightning today, and I was like, fuck yes.
We've been overcast and thundery, and it was cloudy this afternoon, so it's cool. But, like, the rain part has been mostly passing us over. It's a little annoying. We could use some rain. It's hot.
I was wondering what your favorite supplemental context for FGO was. Manga, art books, anime, etc. Have a great day, and remember to always look respectfully. I don't know if I always look respectfully, but I always look courteously. Lies. The best supplement is literally FGO materials, the books where they actually put in extra details about all the characters and their shit.
Yeah, that's a pretty important one. That's good. I wish we would translate those. Please, help me out. Lasengle, Aniplex, Albert, whoever. Papa Sony. Whom must I pray to at the altar of Wallet? After that, I don't know, most of the animation projects have been pretty good. Still have kind of mixed feelings about how the Solid movie turned out.
Yeah. For me, I'm more of a fan of art books. Like when like Raita and Water go pull out like their new books, they show off their characters, they show off little design elements, and they put them in all a bunch of new little costumes. All like yas.
But actually, speaking of the materials books, those are also partially art books because they usually contain like the sketches of all the different ascensions and sometimes costumes, and also like concept art, which is usually very important.
Yeah.
Like, again, a lot of people like to talk shit on Raita, but I have read the materials books, and I see the parts where, like, yeah, Raita will fucking break down the doodle of, somebody's sword or something. Like, here's all of Raiko's weapons. They're very important. Shit like that.
Or, like, redrop, like, I don't think this was in a Mads, but, redrop, basically breaking down the buttons on Kama's jacket. The ones that you, like, only see, like, a little bit far, like, only see a little bit, and you're just like, nope, these were actually what are on these buttons. Like, that amount of detail. Like, I love that stuff. Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah, little art details like that are usually good, because we can appreciate them. I don't think we can count the soundtracks as supplemental, because they're in the game. But they're also good.
I mean, like, every day of Wrath, I'm just like, I should just make that my alarm clock.
That's a great way to wake up. And then when you need to go to sleep, play the Tree Rave. Tree Rave beats to study and relax to.
Alright, so let us move on. Next one comes from longtime lurker of Studio Omega. They say, hello, Lucky Omega, with the release of yet another one of Raita's glorious visions of humanity's future evolution and the ability to now run Double Skadi on your own. Some people are saying that FGO is finally seeing real power creep. Do you agree, or do you just see another waifu in a long list of waifus and husbandos to roll for?
As a person, and I'll explain later this opinion, but as a person who had to do a breakdown for these new servants, some people were, like, really excited about, like, power creep strengthening. I don't actually know, like, looking at the raw numbers. Like, I don't want to say any of our SSRs this year are bad. Like, they are all good SSRs. But they're not, I think, necessarily doing anything, like, crazy that wasn't possible before. We just have a lot of stuff that's, like, compacted. Like, Summer Ibuki, her NP gain is kind of bad. But that doesn't matter because you've had double Castoria for 2 years. No, I'm not kidding. It's like 0.3 something. On a 2-card art servant with average hit counts. It's weird. But again, doesn't matter because people can double Castoria or Castoria and Lady Avalon or whatever. It's only 5 hits. It's only like 1 more hit than Summer Musashi's. No, they're trying to softball you a little. They don't want her to be like a perfect servant by herself. She needs support to go crazy, and the support already exists. And it's the same like with Summer Skadi. She does some interesting things, but I think she does something for a meta that I don't know that exists. Does the Quick Buster meta exist? Because like she's got some mutually exclusive buffs for different card types. It's interesting. We'll talk about it more in detail. But yeah, I don't think that it's a power creep. It's just that like we've had some really busted ass supports, right? And now we're like putting out more support stuff and raising up elements to like be even for more decks, like make more servants compatible with more support so we can get more stuff done. It's like I said with Lady Avalon. I don't think Lady Avalon replaces Tamamo or Castoria once again, but she does slightly different things. So if you're running a more crit focused arts comp, you might prefer using her over 1 or 2 of them, right? Well, Ryan was already stupid. Like he's a swole man. There's some weird shit out there. So yeah, there's some interesting ideas, but I don't think it's like I said, I don't think it's power creep. I just think that people get complacent, right?
Mhm.
Like people have had Summer Musashi for like over a year in NA and longer years over there, and you're just like, oh, she's normal. But like actually crunching her numbers, it's not that much crazier on like Ibuki. They just do slightly different things. And like I said, I'll break down all this stuff later. Like honestly, you want to talk about like really, really good stuff. I actually think that like some of the stuff we do for like our 4 stars, like for Erice and Wu, those feel much more unique. Again, we'll talk about it. So yeah, I still feel like we haven't broken out of. I guess you could argue that that Skadi was kind of the power creep, the like hyper focus on quick and the 50% battery, right? Because like Merlin obviously didn't hit 50% and Waver was very generic, but we've always had Waver, so it's very hard to be like, you know, like anything is like a breakout. I think that the game is just giving us some, whatchamacallit, like they're just giving us new options to roll if you don't have anybody, because if you've been playing JP exclusively or if you've picked up JP recently, you don't have Summer Musashi. I don't know when the fuck her last raid up was, right? So we're putting out similar units that do slightly different things so that we're not invalidating old units, but you still have options. So yeah, I don't know that we're in the power creep phase per se. We're just FGO still has a lot of wiggle room, and Summer Servants often try and break the mold, and sometimes they're successful and sometimes they're not. Yeah, side grades is a good. Like I think a lot of people thought that the fact that Summer Ruler Artoria had a card shuffle skill was like, damn, that's crazy. It wasn't. They've had to buff that skill at least once. Summer BB's Faceless Moon is actually really strong, but it's not essential, right? Like, you don't need to have Summer BB. Just if you have one, you can do some fucking weird-ass shit with it, you know? So yeah, there's my opinion on the power creep. And I will get into some more of the new servant details later. Now, there were some rumors about Summer Skadi that were not true, but I think there were like some alleged leaks that she was gonna like. Yeah, Legendary even just said it. I think it was she was gonna like change people's quick NPs to Buster or something weird shit like that. That would probably have been power creepy and fucking crazy. Changed to arts, yeah, like that would have been like a weird power creep thing that we're just gonna invalidate old quick NPs and just make them arts because arts is better. That was not true, so it didn't matter. Take a big sip of water.
Sip of water.
My bottle is almost empty. When the bottle of water is empty, someone will die.
All right, well, we still got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But I think we can get through these pretty well.
Yep. So this next one is, finally, a Shootenhaver. Hi, how are you guys? I was wondering what your best and worst 5-star spook is. My worst spook was when I was rolling for Merlin. My last roll, I got Nightingale and Ontario, which was really good, but it meant I missed the raid up twice in the same roll. That is oof.
Ooh.
My best was Valentine's, where I finally got Tomomo rolling for Say. Anyway, have a good day.
I mean, I think my best spook is also a Valentine's story. I've told this before. I got Maeve on a Valentine's banner on not her raid up day. Was it an MHXA only day? I don't even remember what banner it was. But yeah, I was just fucking going about my own business. I think I told my worst spook story earlier, which was I got my fucking Enkidu on the Erice banner. And I was just not emotionally prepared for that.
Oh, God, I rolled too much. I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it sounds about right. This is like, there are some questions you guys should know that some of us aren't going to have answers to. You ask Lucky about, like, spooks or rolls and stuff. He's just not going to remember. He rolls a lot.
Not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Over 3 raid up days, he did 6 80 packs, guys. You know how much fucking rolls that is? We did the math. You know how many rolls it is. It's a lot of rolls.
I also got like my first Napoleon and my and an Artemis in there. And that's, you know, usually par for the course for me. Do you know how many like MP5 like 5 SSRs I have?
Yeah.
It's a little stupid.
I mean, I think there are some famous stories. The 13 Mamas, right?
Yeah.
Like that's very infamous because you didn't even get did you get Maid Alter out of that?
Oh, I did.
Okay. And we talked earlier about how you were one of the people blasted by Fion on the Bryn banner.
Yeah. I think I got MP2 Fion in that, in fact. If I remember correctly. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on this because we got more to get to.
We got stuff.
So anyway, this next one comes from Crastinator. Got to top of temple, much tired. Sending good vibes to all. Wah, 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 wah. Nice, I think. We move on. This next one comes from Agent 418, who says, hello, Lucky Omega. How ready for lotto farming are you both, if at all? I'm ready to degen farm myself. P.S. Hope everyone has a good weekend. I am adequate.
Yeah, I think I'm fine. I have a Summer Musashi who's NP2, and I have a Castoria, so...
I know, same.
I can smooth brand.
I'm gonna slap Musashi, I'm gonna slap Castoria, I'm gonna slap Tamamo, and I'm just gonna go Burr. That's my plan. Burr.
Because you know what works no matter the node? Berserkers.
Yeah. Let's see here. This next one comes from I Don't Bake. They say, so last week you guys were talking about dessert and eating cookie dough on its own. Isn't cookie dough basically butter? It's an ingredient. Since it was already processed, technically does it really need to be cooked, or is it like egg or something that was mixed in? Yes, cookie dough is usually some sort of combination of flour, egg, milk, sugar, like brown sugar, some kind of things. And there are health risks involved. Like, even things that are processed, if they are exposed to open air, are exposed to bacteria, and that can do bad things. So usually things need to just be, on general principles, be heat treated, aka baked. But no, you can get sick from the flour, the butter, or and the eggs.
The sugar and the salt are just crystals. That's really hard to fuck up. But flour, butter, and eggs are all organic based. They can spoil.
Yes. So that's why it's usually frowned upon. To eat cookie dough raw, because you can get such things as salmonella and other things from doing it.
And if you're eating cookie dough at home raw, it is specifically, it has raw egg and flour. So I'm literally on the page because I wanted to double check what was in it, doing my research. The American Food and Drug Administration strongly discourages raw eggs and raw flour because of possibilities of salmonella and E. coli. So if you are making cookie dough at home, you should not eat it raw because those products were not prepped because for you to eat them that way. They're meant for you to use the flour and stuff. If you get cookie dough and ice cream, that has probably been treated to go in a finished food product, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's fine, but yes, it is actually, there are active organic ingredients in there that can fuck up. But also, yes, to answer your question, it isn't just basically butter. Flour, butter, eggs, sugar, salt.
But that is your food and safety talk for today. We shall move swiftly on.
I'm kind of glad we switched up our 20-minute tangents. We did video games this week instead of food.
It happens. This next one comes from King of Apples, who missed last week's mailbag because of a little something called Xenobag 3. I probably would be playing it right now if I did not have the worst drift going on right now. Question: if you had to choose one type of event, missions, lotto box, etc., to never have again, what would it be? P.S. This is not a what's your least favorite type ever question. Use your brain. Excuse fucking me?
Why don't you use your brain?
Okay, so you're telling me that the type of quest that I want to get rid of the most is not most likely the one that I like the least. There's no way possible that's fucking possible, is it? I feel like there is
I think I can guess what they were going for. They probably don't want us to just rant about what kind of event we hate the most.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the one I hate the most is probably the one I want gone the most.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it's really hard to separate those. Are you asking me for they are, because they're telling me to use my brain.
Well, guess what? Fuck you. I refuse to use my brain, so I'm going to ignore this question.
Womp womp.
Telling me what to do. Listen, Lucky is a person who does not care about the fucking high road.
You know the boss of me.
Mm-hmm. I'll totally cut off my nose to spite my face.
Mm-hmm. Hey, the nose. You'd be spiting somebody else too. The nose is the important bit. When you're a samurai counting heads, if you can't carry the head, you take the noses.
Take my own trophy.
But okay, that's the end of the mailbag.
Yep.
Good thing we went on that cookie dough question. Mm-hmm. Cookie dough. All right. Well, in that case, we are in fact going to take an intermission. 1, because we've been recording for over 2 hours, and 2, my water bottle is almost empty. So, you guys in the finished product won't hear anything, but we're going to take a stopper here and come back, and we're going to get into that stuff with all them new servants and that Grail Front pre-game. So don't go anywhere. And we're back. Alrighty, time for Chaldea Free Talk. Let's do SummerSlam 2 new servant deets. We shall begin with Summer Erice, because her cute hat is full of hatred. So, Summer Erice is a new 4-star Avenger. Technically, she has low attack for her slot, but that's only because Avengers have a lot of attack. Like, it's actually pretty reasonable. It's just smaller than Lobo and Gorgon for reasons. She is quick arts buster with average hits and NP gain, pretty normal stuff. Her NP is a single target arts and also a very sick flip. It buffs her arts first and does bonus damage. It's based on overcharge, by the way. It does bonus damage to cursed enemies and also has a pretty high instant death chance for, instant death effects. But bonus damage, boost arts first. It's fun. First skill is a 20 to 30% arts up for 3 turns on self and a 2 hits 3 turns evade on self. Pretty solid skill. Love multiple hit evades. Second skill hits all enemies with 1k curse for 3 turns, puts a taunt on self for 1 turn. So she's a taunter as a neutral unit. That's probably pretty fun with an evade. And then also has a when hit buff. So when enemies hit Erice for 3 turns, they will get defense down for 10% for 3 turns. And also it's a 20 to 30% battery. There's a lot of stuff going on this skill. Yep, single target arts Avenger. Pretty good stuff. Third skill improves her instant death chance on self for 3 turns. I think it's, by the way, like plus 120% at like max level. Not that that matters because of how instant death works, but still, it's good. It also gives her 25 to 35% crit damage and damage versus servants for 3 turns. So you're getting multiple extra bonus damages here. Passives are the usual Avenger suite, with her mana replenishment being EX, by the way, for 4% NP gain per turn passively. Just saying, on an arts unit. Writing C+, Independent Action B, and Divinity E. So I would say pretty much more impressive than her baseline self. Like, Welfare Erice has some interesting options, but doesn't really stand out in a lot of the Welfare Lancer space. Summer Erice has a lot of arts and damage potential with a solid instant death opportunity if that matters for killing bosses, but bonus damage versus cursed flows very well with some curse-based teams. I think those lean a little more quick currently, but there are some options out there. And obviously she can self-curse just to get the buff herself. And lots of different damage options, bonus damage versus cursed, bonus damage versus servants, all that stuff. Very solid. Again, good unit. Also sick kickflip with her little personal sail board. There's a name for that, and I don't remember it off the top of my head. Anyway, we're going to move on, because we got one of our big ones here. The Dragon Wagon herself, Summer Ibuki. She is a new 5-star Berserker, and she has the new best attack in class, but only by like 200 points. It really doesn't matter. And the exact same HP as Summer Musashi. Actually, I think she only has like 100 more attack than Ku Alter, but still. She does technically have the biggest attack, but it's not by a lot. Literally, you can change that with foes. Now, she is quick arts buster. Average hit counts and lower NP gain, like I brought up earlier. It's 0.3-ish, so, we've got some checks and balances here. Her NP is an AoE arts, which removes defensive buffs first, and does bonus damage to Earth attribute enemies based on overcharge, and also lowers all enemies' critical chance by 20%. So, decent spread out. So, you got a good start here. The defensive strip is useful. Sorry, that was weird. I think Discord has a new, like, unread messages tabulator there. It was a little bit boozled. Okay. But yeah, very, very effective NP. Like I said, it's 5 hits, but her NP gain is notably lower. Musashi is 0.5 something, I believe. So like I said, there's some balances here. Her Summer Ibuki's first skill is a new Charisma variant, so it's 10 to 20% attack for team, 20 to 30% crit per team, and Summer Servants, this includes those with costumes, get 20 to 30% NP gain for 3 turns. So obviously she counts for herself, so she kind of balances that out when that skill is up, but it is only a 3-turn skill up, so it kind of depends on what you're doing. Her second skill, though, is pretty nifty for a Summer Servant of this type. It is a targetable 20 to 30% arts and buster up for 3 turns, and lowers skill cooldown by 1 turn.
Oh.
And obviously being a arts-focused unit with 2 arts cards and some buffs like that, you can combo this with Tamamo for extra skill downs if you're doing certain team comps. It's very interesting.
That was very interesting.
Now, the big thing is her final skill is a 30 to 50% battery, which is great on an AoE Berserker. But also gives her 5 to 10 stars per turn for 3 turns, and Star Absorb for 3 turns, which on a Berserker is pretty big. Her passives are Madness Enhancement E, Dragonkind EX, so that's a passive 200% damage cut, and also a shitload of buster damage up. And her special Snake Divinity A, so that gives her bonus damage and also inherent buff removal resist. So, like I said before, Summer Ibuki is obviously excellent, best in show on attack, more varied buffs than Musashi does damage-wise. But I also don't think that inherently either replaces the other. Their basic stats are very close. They literally have the same HP, for instance. Musashi has better NP gain, but Ibuki has a large battery starting out, and because she has different attack buffs, has more max damage potential on her buffs, and obviously has the lower NP gain by default, but getting to actually NP in a double Castoria world is not hard. I will say Musashi has more longevity because she has more access to both Axel turn and a Guts. Ibuki doesn't really have any of that going on. Also, fun fact, Summer Musashi's does 30% crit down on all enemies for her NP. I don't know that it matters, but it exists. And both have, piercing potential with, Musashi obviously has Pierce Invul on her big skill and can get her attack, her damage up on arts and her NP gain up. I think remove defensive buffs is technically better, but, they operate in similar circles and are both very good. A lot of it is going to come down to what you have access to for your support choices, personal preference, and also enemy composition. If you're not fighting sabers, Summer Musashi has this, funny thing where she, seals NP on sabers on her NP, which is not usually that useful, whereas Ibuki does bonus damage versus Earth attribute. So there's a little bit of variance there. I brought this up earlier, though. It's probably been a little bit since you had a good chance to roll Summer Musashi if you're relatively new to JP. So, options are good. Still, an amazing work as a unit and as obviously as an artwork. Chef's kiss. There's a lot of fun things here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we should also talk about the bigger Wu, who has some very funny ascensions I read up earlier, and is a 4-star caster. Again, talking about stat lines, her attack is in the area of Onikure of Magical Girl Shuten, who, by the way, if you forgot, Welfare Shuten has more attack than some 5-star casters. But Wu's HP is so low, it is almost 3-star tier. She barely beats out chunky 3-star boys like Babbage by a few hundred points. So, big extremes on those stat spreads. Also, QAABB, not a caster deck. Average hit counts and slightly higher NP gain. It's 0.6, so, a little above average. And that's because she has an AoE Buster NP that's pretty interesting. So, it buffs her NP damage first, based on overcharge. It makes enemies undead for 3 turns. Gives them the undead trait. It deals bonus damage if they're human attribute. And also has 20% defense down for 3 turns. This is after. So, very interesting spread of effects there. It's, I think she calls it Jiangxi Core. She summons a bunch of her, torture dolls as Jiangxi, so, yeah, there's some vampire themes here. Her first skill gives the team a 10 to 50% attack and buster up, and then 10 to 20% NP gain up for 3 turns. So, a little bit of spread. Not quite the full charisma, but out there. Second skill is charge down by 1 tick for all enemies. 20 to 30% bonus damage to undead for 3 turns for the party, and also is a 10 to 20% battery, doing caster things. Her final skill is a stun for all undead enemies, a 1k to 3k team heal, and a team debuff clear, which is very excellent. Her passives are territory and item creation A. Oh yeah, and just complete immunity to mental debuffs.
None.
Yeah, just complete immunity.
Cease.
This is very hilarious with Oberon because this includes his eternal sleep debuff, I believe. But yeah, Summer Wu's gonna have a lot of potential for team comps and team ups and weird story content. So, naturally she's good against undead enemies inherently, but the fact that she can make them undead, and I believe there are actually a couple of servants, including the original Erice, she has a strong ability to actually work on enemies there. And just freaking 3k team heal and debuff clear is very good. You've got a lot of party-wide buffs. She has an AoE Buster NP that does bonus damage. A very solid kit with a lot of flexibility while still having some funny flavor in there. And honestly, like I said, fits into some stall teams as well with a stun and a charge down. So very satisfied with that one. And then let's talk about, on the big one, our new 5-star ruler, the Summer Skadi. Fairly average attack and slightly lower HP for her class and rarity slot. Quick arts Buster with average hit counts and thus a high NP gain. I think it's 0.7 or 0.8. considering she has like a single 3-hit arts card. So her NP is AoE Quick. It gives her more damage on water battlefields first, and it does bonus damage to lawful servants, both based on overcharge. It also reduces enemies' charge by 1 when it hits, so kind of like a weird quick stall thing. So you may think to yourself, okay, AoE Quick, we've made an offensive unit to go with regular Skadi. About that. So, skill number 1. Now, this first part is going to sound familiar. It's a targetable 30 to 50% quick buff for 3 turns. But also, that targeted ally gets 50 to 100% crit damage on buster cards for 3 turns. So you can already see what they're going for there. You get a very, very spicy front half on quick, but if you can follow it up by actually critting on buster, you will hit more damage. Big damage. Yeah, her actual NP performance is probably not super crazy, but that's why she does get an NP up on herself, and does bonus damage to lawfuls. You can work with this. Her second skill is another Charisma type variant. It's team-wide 10 to 20% attack up, 10 to 15% quick and buster up for 3 turns, and also 5 to 15 stars per turn. Very solid team buff. And her final skill is a targetable 30 to 50% battery, which also increases that character's star absorption on buster cards for 1 turn by a lot. And is also a 5 to 15 star bomb. Again, you guys can kind of see the vibes we're going for here. Passives are Territory EX, so that 1 arts card really slaps. But also Summer Skadi has Magic Resistance EX and Goddess Essence A for a whopping 50% passive debuff resist. You want to talk about power creep? I think it's possibly in the passives. Like, we're just getting crazier with them passives. We don't give a fuck. Also, she gets slightly bonus damage. So, I don't think that Summer Skadi will be as foundational to a brand new meta as OG Skadi was, but she is a very strong contender for a hybrid support slot, previously basically just held by Osakabe Hime and sometimes Merlin, because, like, yeah, Merlin has a buster buff, but, like, literally all the rest of his buffs are generic, so you would sometimes use Merlin in other team comps just because you want big fat crits. So, the way that she seems to be designed, I think the intended idea is to have Summer Skadi either juice up herself or somebody else to drop an AoE quick NP to clear a wave or clear ads, and then on a follow-up turn, go in with buster cards and actually wipe the boss clear. And I think this has a decent number of synergy with a lot of servants. Somebody mentioned in our chat earlier when I talked about it, Quick, Buster is actually a decent spread of servants who have kind of been underperformers in previous years, right? Like, that's a lot of Lancer decks or that style. So, there's definitely some room for those combos. And especially, I think, with the buffs they have done to Quick. Because remember, starting a chain with Quick now gives you automatic crit chance when used at the front. So you can always gamble on a QBB, even if you don't have, like, an NP turn. So I think this actually gives her a lot of performance options. Obviously, she has an AoE herself, so you can try it out to get in there. It does do charge down if you need to just fire it off for damage and whatnot. And I think there's a lot of opportunity here. Like I said, I don't know if these numbers are, like, foundational to a meta, but, hey, targetable 50% quick up, targetable 100% crit damage on buster, targetable 50% battery. Lots of extra star gen. She has both a stars per turn and a star bomb on there. You're probably going to get some decent mileage out of this with some of those servants who have those weird quick buster kits, you know? She's going to do some decent action. And, of course, like I said, she is a ruler, so she's very tanky. And she does have 50% passive debuff resistance, which is crazy. And I mean, in terms of, like, rulers that do team comp stuff, I mean, she's one of the better support rulers. I think the only other major contender is Sherlock, and she absolutely doesn't step on his toes, because Sherlock is all, like, piercing and arts stuff. Piercing and arts crits, specifically. Mm-hmm. Okay, Himiko is also, I have, obviously, I kind of feel like people don't talk a lot about Himiko. I know she has some not die, like, some very strong stally team stuff. I don't see her talked about a lot, and obviously she's not out yet, so it's not like I see her on my support list and use her. Yeah, I don't think she was much of a shaker. I like her because of her design and her being Himiko, but I don't think she's bad. I just don't think she broke in at the time. It may also just be that Himiko is more buster-focused, and the FGO metagame is very weird. Because of Clairvoyance, the squad, like, kind of, like, rolls through, like, different periods. So when Himiko came out, Buster was kind of on the outs, right? Buster wasn't cool. But we know that there's multiple Koyan Sky is coming out, going on there, and Morgan is Buster focused as well. So, like, I think the Buster meta is going to wrap back around, and you might see some more commentary. But Skadi being kind of like a legitimate flex support Like, she legitimately buffs quick and buster comps, like quick so that you can do NP loops or generate stars first, and then literally buster crit comps, which has always been, like, the biggest damage is on sick, nasty buster crits. Possibly with Super Orion, as somebody brought up earlier. There's a lot out there that's interesting. I kind of hope that they continue this vein, because those are always the servants that feel kind of like, I don't want to say orphaned, but, like, feel a little weird when you see a servant who's got, like, that multicolor buff, and you're like, oh, can I really make this work? Because usually big support servants are monocolor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they're completely colorless, like Waver. The only, like, hybrid support who comes to mind easily is what they did with Osaka Hime after her buffs, and that's literally just they gave her a buster buff as big as her quick buff. So there's a lot of room here for the game to grow. Like we said earlier, side grades, not power creep. If you really like servants who have access to both good quick cards and good buster cards, Summer Skadi will do good for you. If you're still in the sweet arts meta, you probably should be sticking with some Lady Avalon plays for some extra crit stuff. Obviously, Ibuki gives you a new unit you can roll, but not necessarily going to do anything that you weren't already doing, possibly, if you're a longtime player. So there's a lot of variance in this year's. I honestly think the main thing is that, like, the 4 stars seem like they're the most interesting going on there, but the 5 stars are just really good, right?
Right.
Like I think we said this about Lady Avalon last week. Her kit's not, like, crazy or anything. It's literally just Arts Merlin. But that's good. It's just good. Merlin's kit on an Arts unit is good. Who could have guessed, right? Yeah, so I think it's the same with, like, Summer Ibuki and Summer Skadi. It's like, oh gee, a Summer Arts Berserker with crazy high attack. Yeah, that's really good. And I mean, like, again, the fucking, like, 200 or 300 point difference isn't gonna matter between her and Summer Musashi, usually. The main thing is that because Ibuki she has access to both an attack up and an arts buff, she can get multiple damage, whereas the main thing you get with Musashi is her third skill stacks both a, like, 30% attack up on herself and then 30% defense down. So that's like a total 60%, but it's all attack up. But there's still some flexibility. It's just really interesting. I think I like design-wise, I like all of this year's summers. Like, all of them have pretty good arts. They've got a lot of fun stuff. I think the main thing that might be a little, like, minimal is Summer Valks. Sorry, I'm pulling up the wiki. No, that's Read Up Servants. I want latest servants. Well, I guess I just pick one, because technically they're 3 separate servants. That's not going to be annoying. But yeah, no, yeah. I mean, okay, they've got a 10-hit arts AoE. There's probably some fun farming in there. Yeah, they've got a decent kit. I don't think either any of the Summer Valkyries, like, break anything either, but their kit is fun at least. Get some HP, get some evades, have a chance to instant kill demonic enemies. There's a lot of Earth attribute hate in Summer though now. I don't know why. Because we got, like, multiple buffs to Summer units to do bonus damage to Earths and Mans. Valkyries do bonus damage to Earth attribute servants. I don't know what we're going for, but it's pretty interesting. But okay. Alright. I mean, yeah, because Earth is fictional or folkloric people. Though, I think, wasn't Heaven actually more popular? They might have fixed that, though.
Maybe.
Because there was a fuck ton of units who came out, for instance, with Lost Bot 6. Those were all probably Earth. Heaven attributes used to be very popular. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of generic enemies. But okay, that's our new summer servants. I hope you enjoyed that discussion. You can tell us which one is your favorite in the comments. What new team comps are you going to do? But it's time, as we go on to the 2 hour and 45 minute mark. How do I shot Grail Front? So yes, let us do the Land of Shadows, the Grail Front event, pre-game. So, this is a time-gated lotto event, but it does also introduce the new Grail Front mechanic, which people like. Dallas is using a not-approved name. We will ignore it. And yes, it is time-gated. You have, the Grail Fronts are time-gated each day, and then you have different free quests that cycle in Neurofest style.
I just deleted it, because I'm not dealing with it.
So, basically, clear free quests and clear Grail Fronts to unlock story quests. There's literally, like, 2 story quests for 2 sync courts. There's a prologue and an epilogue. Everything else is in the actual Grail Fronts. Now, clearing each Grail Front will give you a Grail tier. 7 Grail tiers become 1 Grail. So, you get a Holy Grail out of this by winning 7 Holy Grail frags. And then you put them together. You get it? Clearing them also give you a shitload of lotto currency. and a summon ticket each, so 7 summon tickets, and also will net you 5 each of mats such as grease, talons, fruits, roots, scarabs, scales, and egg. So doing them is important. Now, what the heck is a Grail Front anyway? Well, it turns FGO into a little bit of a strategy game, and it consists of a few steps which I will explain below, and also the website details, so you can take a crack at this yourself and follow along.
Yay.
So, each Grail Front will have a map, which is of a bunch of different nodes, strategy style. It's turn-based. Now, you will have sortie spaces where you can place your servants. You will have a cast cop on cost cap. I think it's actually called cost limit, but you have the cost limitations you normally do. Well, not you normally do, but they're specific to the map. But you have a cost limitation on CEs and servants, so keep that in mind. You need to field at least 1 servant to start, but do not need to use all your servant spaces. So if you want to solo with somebody funny, you can. You, the master, will also be placed on the map. Now, sortie nodes are class locked, so keep that in mind. They will specifically limit what kind of classes you can take in some, though. Spoiler for later, all sortie spaces do exist. So once you've picked your units and you've started, you will alternate turns with the enemy. You have a set number of actions per turn, and servants can only take so many actions per turn. So there's lots of little numbers you'll see displayed on your screen. As you're moving around, servants can attack servants and masters, but you can only attack another master. So keep that in mind with your placement. And yes, this means you can, if you can make it, you can just run yourself up to the enemy and just slap the shit out of them. Now, allied servants can swap spaces if they're adjacent, but this uses an action on both of them. So keep that in mind. And also, they'll be very clearly displayed on the map. Several spaces will contain bonus items that will drop when you move onto them, such as getting free NP battery, getting extra buster up when you start a battle, etc. So keep your eye out for those prizes and make sure to pick them up for victory, for great victory. So, you will win by defeating all enemy servants or just defeating the enemy master. Pretty typical stuff. Okay? Now, how do you defeat? So, for 10 movement points, your servants can attack an adjacent node. I also believe this applies to you. Allies in adjacent spaces to the attacked spaces will join the fight. Now, this fight is a mini-battle which lasts as many turns as attacking servants, and the attackers go first, so attacking with optimal placement is very important. Also keep in mind, they did not display this in the demo images, but it says in the description, not only do you get more turns when you have more allies join in, but also allies who join in are part of the fight. So, for instance, if you're attacking an enemy who has 1 ally adjacent and you have 1 ally adjacent to that attacked enemy, it will be a 2v2 fight. This is literally the example they use in the news page. So, the other stuff in the battle is basically normal. You take your turns as noted. There's a big go first advantage for attackers. You can use skills, and you can use mystic codes, but only if you, the master, are adjacent. So your placement actually matters. There's some risk-reward shit out there. The battle ends when the time is up or when the servant dies. But servants have break bars, little break points. They have little diamonds next to their name. And if they have a breakpoint left when they are forced to retreat by running out of HP, you will use the breakpoint and they will recover full HP after. So you can actually lose fights. You just have to be careful. If your servant runs out of HP after they've used all their breakpoints, which, by the way, they only display that you have 1, so I don't know if you go above that, at least in this Grail Front. But after that, they will be defeated and removed from the board, so keep that in mind. So note that, at least to my understanding completely, stars, NP levels, status effects, and cooldowns carry over between battles on the same Grail Front map. Oh, so if you have stars left over, you get to keep them for a future fight. If your NP is charged, you get to keep that shit. But also, this means that if you get fucking cursed for 3 turns and the battle only lasts 1 turn, that means when you do your next fight, you're still cursed. The only exception to this is stuns. If you are affected by any kind of stun or otherwise immobilized, you will lose the status effect for the next fight, but that servant cannot move on your next map turn. So you can use this strategically if you like. Now, you, the master, do not have HP and do not participate in fights. Instead, you have endurance, and this is basically 3 lives. When you are attacked, you lose a point of endurance. If you lose all of them, game over, man. But the same applies to the enemy team. This means that if you can find the path, you can just fucking haul ass to the back row and boop the enemy master. And in fact, I'm gonna guess that some maps will probably be better this way than actually fighting all the enemy dudes. But either way works as a victory strategy. You can either eliminate all enemies, or you can eliminate the master. And I'm getting reports from people who've played this on JP, specifically from Dallas, that They do warn you about master placement, and apparently the AI will prioritize ganking you the master if they can, so make sure you cover yourself correctly. You are the king in chess, do not be a doofus. So there you go, there's our general rules for Grail Fronts. Now, there's only 7, but they're fairly beefy, so I could break these down by, like, your exact sortie spaces, your point limit, your enemy compositions, HP, what bonuses are on the map. But honestly, that's going to be very word-dense and probably not super interesting. And I want to point out, you can abandon a Grail Front at any time. If a match is going badly and you don't want to wait out the loss, you can just leave the battle and start over. Your AP is not refunded, and they will cost AP, but not as much as you're going to be spending lotto farming. So instead of, like, hammering down specifically on each of these 7 ones, I'm going to give some generalized advice. When thinking about, like, your damage output and stuff, keep in mind, enemies in Grail Fronts, at least in this first one, will not go below 70k HP, but don't go above 90k HP. And yes, the HP is still fucking grossly overbalanced towards enemies. And do remember, you can settle this mano-a-mano with the Master. So again, if you have an opportunity, gank that guy. Now, enemy teams will not go below 4 servants, that's the minimum you'll see, and will go as high as 7 enemies you must defeat. Very, very rarely an enemy will have a specific buff. I think in one map, Karna has a sure hit all the time, and in a different map, there's an Astolfo who has a permanent defense pierce. Not like pierce invul, just pierce defensive buffs. That's like it for the entire thing. So instead, what enemies will probably do is try and access map buffs, and there can be a lot of map buffs. This is, again, why I'm not breaking it down. Like, some maps are like 1 map buff, and others are like 5 map buffs you can pick up. So, just pick up your power-ups. Now, your first Grail Front will be just 3 servants, so you'll be outnumbered slightly, but it's the first one. You'll be doing 4 for most of them, and then your last 2 fights will be 7 servants and 8 servants, respectively. Now, past the first one, many Grail Fronts will have an all slot, so keep that in mind. But Front 6 specifically has a foreigner slot, so if you don't have a foreigner, rip you, I guess. Cost-wise, Dallas says that CEs are not worth it. You're going to have to make that decision for yourself, depending on your challenges. You do have a cost limit, so keep that in mind. But also, this flows perfectly well into my next bullet point. Your best way to accomplish this, I would like to remind you that all servants have an attack up bonus during this event, which is inversely proportional to their rarity. So you can use the heck out of this with your cost limit to win. All 5 stars get 20% attack up, 4 stars get 30% attack up, 3 stars get 40% attack up, 2 stars it's 45, and 1-star servants, or no-star servants in the case of Angra, is 50% damage up. So if you can make this work, and especially if you've got some like grailed low rarity servants, you can probably pull off some funny things. Because that'll keep your cost economical, but keep your damage optimized. And like I said, there's 7 of them. They unlock every day. You've got 2 whole weeks to do the event. Feel free to experiment with the map. It is going to turn into a little bit of a tactics RPG, so you are actually going to need to think out your map selections and go through them. I think this event is meant to be very budget friendly, especially for being our first Grail Front. But you, like a lot of tactical games, you may have to scrub the map just because you had perfect selection of servants, but the enemy did something you didn't expect with where they moved their units, and you get fucked. So, don't be afraid to reset and go again if you need to. Oh, sorry, scratch my ear. So, why are we bothering with all of this? Well, first of all, you get a Holy Grail from this, and also you get a lot of lotto currency. It's like 400 or 500 per Grail Front clearing. It might go way above that. And you want this lotto currency because the grand prizes, not super impressive. It's the first 10 lotteries are 5 faux pas, 1 lore, and some gold foes. Pretty typical stuff. But every lotto box contains a boar plushie currency. You can exchange the boar plushies for command codes, and also specifically only the plushies for 10 more eggs. And also 500k QP per plushie. There are 4 plushies per box. That means you can make 2 million QP per box once you've bought all the command codes and the eggs that I know you're going to buy. So that's a pretty good exchange rate. Additionally, each box contains 1, 2, 2 of each class and color of skill gem. So that's 1 yellow, 2 red, 2 blue for every class of skill gem per box. It also contains your usual bevy of friend points, mana prisms, EXPs, apples. Keep in mind that gold apples are only for the first 10 boxes. After that, it's just silver and bronze, but still. More QP, and mats such as feathers, proofs, gears, and bones. That's right. Unlimited bones, Lotto.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
I know how much y'all love bones, so. I also know a lot of people are hurting for proofs lately, because they've been out of vogue for a few years, so that's also good. So, yeah. Solid selection. Indeed, the Bone Zone. You can also get your Lotto currency from free quests, which come in 3 sections which advance over time. Now, unfortunately, this is the bad news. Quite a few of these free quest nodes are not monoclass, and I'm not talking about, like, berserkers with some sabers. I'm talking, like, weird shit, like 2 waves of riders and then lancers for the final wave. Very unfortunate. And they like to swap on the final wave, mostly. Now, trash mobs are trash, but expect bosses and mid-bosses to be anywhere from 50k to 200k HP. They can have quite good drops, though. Some of these high-level nodes you can farm for, like, stakes and other stuff. And some of the better nodes are monoclass. Like, I don't actually think you have to go to the highest difficulty node to farm your optimal drops of lottos, unless I'm missing something in, like, the formatting. But it's still perfectly functional without them. And, like we said, doesn't matter if they're monoclass berserkers. But yes, if you've gotten used to our good fortune with monoclass farming nodes, unfortunately, Delightworks and Lasangle are here to remind you to not be happy all the time. There's some weird team comps. Clearing these quests will get you apples and MP for clearing the higher level ones. So you want to at least try on at least one to get your extra mana prisms and extra apples. This is also how you dropo the Shoppo currency. In the shop, you can buy Skak's costume, you can buy 4 copies of the Lotto CE, you can buy statues of all kinds. That's right, all 7 class statues are in here, both levels. You can also get your usual bevy of foes, and mats such as chains, spinal fluid, babies, dust, crowns, always good to see, new mats, gallstones, reactor cores, lanugos, and demon hearts. So, quite a variety of lovely mats. And I do believe this is locked in with the announcement. So, no, like, super new future Lost Belt mats in this one, but still good shit on the old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 4 Lotto currency CEs, but that's just it. It's just Lotto currency drop rate, which helps optimize your farming, but is not necessary. There is no damage bonus CE for super broken shit. Just figure out how to farm with 1-star servants. Duh. We've already discussed the summon banner, so that's, Scathicc, and then the rate up of the other characters. But this does include the banner CEs for extra currency if you want to do that high-speed farming for shop strats. But again, I don't think you probably need that because you were probably farming out for Lotto currency anyway. You may get a decent spread of the shop currency from this anywho's. But it'll be a nice wide variety of stuff, and hopefully will be fun. I mean, the CEs art-wise are great. So, you roll for your own personal preference. But it is not required because, again, you're going to be doing probably a lot of node farming just for Lottos because, like I said, infinite skill gems, infinite bones. Unlimited bone zone.
I am slowly dying. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why, but I am tired.
Well,
Holy
you said
shit.
you had, like, upset guts earlier. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're basically done. We've crossed 3 hours. That's all I got. My last note is just to tell everybody, as usual, happy hunting, y'all. Please don't tell me you farmed, like, 1,000 boxes. That's really good for you, but you're just going to make me sad. I really don't care. Just pat yourself on the back and give yourself a thumbs up. There you go. But otherwise, yeah, I'm very excited for this event. Because there's quite a few Grail Fronts in our future. I hope the format is good. A lot of people say it's good, so we're gonna see. Seems fun. I like tactics.
Yeah.
And you get to do some interesting comp stuff. And, I mean, skill gems. I need them. I need the skill gems.
I need all of them.
Very sore fingers, Axe. So, that. We will do the usual business wrap-up, and then we will get out of here, because I am also sleepy, and I still have stuff to do. I gotta do my daily Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel reps. I want that fucking scapegoat mascot. Fucking cosmetics, am I right? Am I right, boys? But let's check in with our Patreon poll. I'm pretty sure who won, but I like to solidify. And next week will be the 26th. That will be the last Friday in this month. Because we record these on Fridays, don't you know?
Don't you know?
So, Fan Servant Friday, indeedly, as I thought, Lacusta won with 44%. Still pretty tight in there, but alright, we can finally scratch her off. You guys are ready for Nero's Golf BFF. So, that will be next week's Fan Servant results. If you want to vote in our Fan Servant Friday, support us on Patreon at the, 5 and up level. Next week, we will probably be talking about, obviously, our first impressions and our, Grail Front strats and results as well. See how that goes. We'll see if there's any, banner stuff going on. I think the next Road to 7 will probably be announced. I don't know if it'll drop, but we may see some future, new Memorial Quest to be funny about. We'll see what kind of advanced quest CEs we get. Hopefully some rank ups for some people. What Lost Belt are we on? 4 or 5?
I'm not sure.
Are we all the way up to 6? Shit. Did anybody get buffs for 5? Oh, Dallas didn't realize the counting. Yeah, you are dumb. You're a dum-dum who can't read. That's okay, we play with Yu-Gi-Oh! We can't all read. 5.5. Okay. I completely missed what we did for 5 at all. Other than I vaguely remember, I think one of the memorial quests was Demeter. Anybody from 5.5 need a buff? I guess Suna's kind of just there. He exists. Does Kentucky need a buff? The motherfucker has like a 50% battery and a 50% attack up. He's pretty cracked. More. Yeah, but they're gonna do Road to 7 Dallas, so I want them to give buffs. If only because I don't think we really talked about it a lot, but I do kind of feel like this year's rank up quests anniversary were kind of mid. Like, some of them were important, but some of them were just weird. And, like, I feel like Lysenko went out of their way to make us wrong. But, yeah, we got a lot of options. We got a lot of stuff we can do. There's some fun stuff going on. Well, it was your fault trusting Twitter, Dallas. Go to a wiki. Wikis are fine. But, all right, we're running out of gas. We've been going for 3 hours. We will wrap up now. If you've enjoyed this Let's Talk FGO and want more of it, especially if you like that 20-minute divergence about other stuff, please make sure to tune into What's Up every Saturday. Lucky will probably be playing more Lost Judgment, so you should go watch us play it and talk about other shit. And go back and watch last week's. I know that it was in copyright hell for a little bit, so it didn't get as many views, but it's real. Please, go watch it.
My bad. I forgot about those things.
Well, it's so hard. It's hard to tell with video games, like, what will be a problem and what won't. And the main thing is just, dear video game companies, fucking stop with your credits music like that, please. Why do you do this? Like, it's like exactly for the credits we, like, hire a real artist or band somewhere, but it's still like a video game credit song. I don't know. I don't understand how this works. Anyway, that episode exists. Go watch it. What's Up is usually streamed on Saturdays, though, after Let's Talk FGO goes to public. If you wanted to get Let's Talk FGO early, you can support us on Patreon as well. But go check out What's Up, and stay tuned for future stuff, Monday streams, other shit, etc. We'll probably talk a little bit about past and future streams on What's Up as well, so go in for that news. I will continue to cross-promote. And otherwise, keep your ear to the ground. So, sorry, next little stiff. But we're doing the outro. I would appreciate it, I would deeply enjoy if you liked this video on YouTube if you're watching. And also go back to last week's episode and watch and like that one too. That one didn't really percolate a lot. If you wanted more information about like Lady Avalon and Summer Gareth, we talked about that then on Summer Valks and stuff. And that one surprisingly did not like do super well. Not like awful, but definitely did not have the usual reach I expected. So go back and watch that one if you missed it somehow. And go ahead and fire off with that. If you have any comments, leave in the comment section down below, as I asked you several direct questions. And also, you can join our Discord. Link is in the description and on the channel page. Join our Discord. It is cool. And it is not pay-gated like some people's Discords. You can also sub to the channel. If you haven't already, please do so. Tell your friends, get the subs. And make sure to ring that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream. It's very useful. Ring that bell. Set to all. You can also join our channel memberships. The join button or the link below. Get access to membership badges and emotes usable while streaming, while commenting, while writing mailbags. It's very fun and cool. Also, like I mentioned at the top, YouTube did tell me to remind you that you can, in the comment section, you can super thanks us. It's like a super chat, but just in the comments. It's a thing that they do that apparently is not super popular. You can save super chats for live streams as well. I don't really care. I would appreciate your financial support, but I don't, you can do it wherever. Speaking of doing it, though, you can also support us on Patreon. Like I said at the front of the show, you can get access to this episode in audio format for as little as $1 a month or roughly $10 a year. You get those early, right away, as soon as I'm done editing the audio. It goes out to Patreon, assuming that Patreon's website doesn't explode out of memory my ass. But you can also listen to and watch videos early over there, get access to topic polls. At higher levels, you can listen to us record this show live and get on-air shoutouts. And at any level, you can see our patron chat in Discord, even if you can't listen along with the episode, so you can understand what that weird half of a conversation we had was. And that is, I think that's all my usual stuff at the ends. This has been yet another Let's Talk FGO for the books. Enjoy your dance party in summer, everybody. Good night. Goodbye.
Have a good evening, everyone.